You're 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where are you playing? We're going. I like the aggressive. Let me drop the great car. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming the light.
Here low, come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hello. Oh, it's not just me. It's all three.
Here we are.
Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new season of NWP. Are we coming across loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me? I'm here to gaslight you guys.
And all I'm thinking of is firmly grasp it. What's up, everybody? It is good to be back. What do you think? What's everyone think of the new look? We revamped everything this offseason.
Redid my hair. I'm glad somebody noticed.
Andrew W says we're now vertical rectangles.
Woo!
Yes.
We're even though. Hey, people can even see my Triceratops skeleton on here.
One day horizontal video will make a comeback, but that day is not today.
It's like Lord of the
We
Rings.
are
Today
each in
is
our
not
own
that day.
TikTok.
Well, it is good to be back. I have the chat up here, and guys, there is the really fun part here where we can share with people how we feel as well with their own comments. See?
Oh shoot! AC Fairgrounds making the stream.
Trains, let's go.
Yo, what a great start.
Oh yeah, it is gonna be a fun year for sure. We're gonna get into a lot tonight. If I can find the right what do you call it? The right overlay. We have lots of stuff this year to go over.
Somebody in
And
the chat said that the only downside of this is that the live chat is covering me on the TV. That's okay. I'm the ugliest one. You don't have to look at me.
what the damn, dude, don't talk about yourself like that. Come on, we're all beautiful here. You know what else is beautiful though? The NASCAR season is starting back up. We have almost 450 already tuning in the first 2 minutes, so we should probably get into everything that's happened, because not much has happened, but just everything has happened. What do you think, guys? Let's jump into new people and new places.
Just get right into it.
Hey,
yeah.
Why not?
Real quick before you get started on that, a lot of things happened over the offseason, especially Eric. What just happened to you?
I was gonna start with you, Danny, but sure, we can start with me. Yeah, got married. I'm wearing the ring. Hoopah! Take that. Got married a couple weeks ago. These two fine gentlemen on either side of me stood by my side. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was really thankful, blessed to see so many friends and family in one place at one time. People often say that like their wedding day is like a blur, and that's somewhat true for me. It felt more like, honestly, it felt like a dream. You guys weren't there for this, but when it was just Amelia and I on the dance floor after everybody went outside for the big send off, it was just the two of us and some like photographers and stuff standing around. It was wild. Just like I suddenly found myself just looking around the room thinking, like, did that just happen? Like all these people, like you two dancing with my aunt and uncle that like you've never met until this, but I've known my whole life. I saw like people from all walks of life that I've known from different eras of my, all in one place. It was, I mean, people who've gotten married, I'm sure in many cases can relate. It was a beautiful moment, beautiful evening. I was glad y'all got to spend it with me, made it all the more special. But yeah, so it was a great off season for me. Danny, you got a new job. I don't know how much you want to tell us about it, but I know you've been making some big career moves as well. So
yes,
you.
So I mean, I don't want to say the company names or anything just because TMI in that case. But unfortunately, my Christmas season was where my full-time job for the last 4 years. That came to an end. It was not for performance reasons. It was financial, laid off. So sad that closed, but now a new door opened. And what's even great about this is I actually get to keep working with a gentleman that I worked with every day at my last job. He also joined me and to move over to this new company. And it's been great. Took a good boost in yearly pay, and that's great for me and Claudia. And allows me to focus more on what's my actual career. And and I think the work schedule is going to maybe open up things just a little bit more that I can maybe get back to some content on DannyBTalks here and there. And not obviously it's not my full-time job because I got another full-time job, but it's also a job just like my last one. I get to do it remotely from home, and I like that aspect of it. It's a good group of people, and I'm happy to be with them so far. Just starting on my first week with them right now. No, it's not related to NASCAR, so don't think I'm at a NASCAR track or nothing like that. But no, it's a good company. Happy to be there with them.
It's
A lot of
been
good stuff
awesome
happening.
Yeah. And
And Jerry, you've been planning for something big coming in a few months that we all know about. So that's
found out what we're having.
yes, that happened during the off season. Yeah.
I guess I can spoil something later on in it. I won't spoil that, but we do have a fun NASCAR themed way to let you all know what we're having. Won't say the name,
Ooh.
private. This person's life should be private until they have the ability to choose online. But it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun year. We are way different people than the start of the off season, and by the end of this year, we will all be way different people as well. But we're glad to share it with all of you guys, and I cannot wait to see what's to come. Part of that, though, is the new people in new places, old people in new places. Everyone's in new places. Guys, let's just pop up on screen the big changes for Cup to start with, and who stands out to you guys? We'll move the we'll have to move the comment real quick.
Yeah. Right now, that Joey guy stands out. He was up on the screen.
I'll say this for me. What I'm really interested in, like there's the obvious ones that are really big, but I'm gonna hold off on those for now, just because I do kind of want to talk about the colleague side of it. Like that team been I know different way to start it, but
not where that was the last two places I looked, if I could be completely honest.
That's the thing to me is that the team is basically been in a rut for like a year and a half, 2 years. And it's like, who's going to get the spark there? Like, I really don't think it's going to be Ty Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, like road courses, but like, is there anything they can build on the Cup side? Because if you guys remember at the end of the Gen 6 era, I mean, we were there for AJ Allmendinger's win at the Brickyard, road course, I should say. But that team was like right up there with Trackhouse and 2311 for like prospects for the future. And now it's MIA.
Yeah, from what was their trophy hunting to I mean, shoot, with Ty Dillon and AJ Allmendinger outside of the road courses, they'll be top 20 hunting for most of the year.
Yeah, you're not trophy hunting, you're hunting for another week of paychecks, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I like AJ in the 16 full time. He belongs in Cup, and with winning you're in, there's 5 road courses on the regular season schedule. I think I looked this up. Take out the Chicago street race. He's finished 6th or better in 5 of the last 6 Cup road races. And keep in mind, he's been a part-time driver for most of that span. So he just needs to win one. And like Mexico City is new to most of the guys in the Cup field. He could break through and win there. It'll be him versus SVG most likely. So, I like AJ Allmendinger to help get their Cup program back on track, but outside of the road courses, I still think it's going to be a struggle. I'm particularly interested in, this is another one that maybe people won't immediately look at, but Michael McDowell in the 71. I know people look at Justin Haley in the 7. Host of ours not new to that team, but he's in his sophomore season after winning Rookie of the Year. But Michael McDowell, working with Travis Peterson, they had great success, I feel, with Front Row the past couple of years have helped make that team more formidable, more competitive. And now they go to Spire, which seems to have maybe even more resources. They've made a lot of moves, obviously, to get more competitive. What can Michael McDowell do with this new look Spire Motorsports? Like, I think playoff threat, win at a super speedway, win at a road course is not out of the realm of possibility.
I've got a lot of hope for them this year. I think one of their drivers could end up making the playoffs this year. I don't know how it happens. It could be just a random win and they're in, but I think one of them could look up and find themselves into the playoffs this year. I've got a lot of hope for them. I've also got a lot of hope for Cole Custer this year. That's the remnants of Stewart Haas Racing, Haas, factory racing now. What's it? Haas factory, right?
Haas factory team.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot of hope for them. Going to the 41, they've revamped all the fonts over there. Everything's looking, new and fresh.
Spiffy.
But just focusing on one car. That team struggled to focus on 4 these last couple of years. you got one car. And Cole Custer, you got one more chance to prove yourself in Cup. You went back down to the Xfinity Series. You became an Xfinity Series champion down there. You contended for the championship last year. You've got a chance to redeem yourself. He has a Cup win, Kentucky Speedway. Don't ever forget about that. But this is his second opportunity in Cup Series. And I think Cole Custer comes out of this situation a better racer than he was before. I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out for him. And, it might take some time for this team to find themselves a little bit. I think they can contend. I don't know how soon that comes. I think they can contend. Maybe, at least for a few top fives this season. We'll see if they can win, but I'm hopeful that he's got a better chance this time.
His crew chief recently said that it's like they're a fourth RFK car, which to me is setting the bar way too high. But hey, I mean, sky's the limit. Also want to mention Front Row Motorsports. Todd Gilliland moving from the 38 to the 34, but then they're bringing in Noah Gregson. Zane Smith returns to the team now on the Cup side. Chris Lawson, who used to be their Truck Series crew chief, won a title with Zane Smith, is now moving over to the Cup side to work with Gilliland. I think that could be a dangerous duo if they hit on it, especially considering the leap Todd Gilliland made last year. So front row, like Colleague to an extent, like Trackhouse, like RFK, like Spire, another multi-car team that could make some noise this year that we don't usually hear from.
And likewise, aren't they now a 2-truck team down in the Truck Series? So they're gonna have their hands in a few bread baskets out there.
They've got like their own development system now.
But they're tier 1 team. Front Row is
on the Cup side. Yeah.
Looking at the Cup side here, to me, I think personally, when you look in general, I think the field's actually a little weaker than years past, but specialist wise, I think that's where this field is going to shine, which I think is a reflection on what is kind of pushed now with the way that, kind of touch on it in a bit, but playoff system is staying the same this year. Generally, until further notice, winning you're in is the idea. And you got guys like SVG, like AJ Allmendinger, who are in Cup now. The 88's back, but those are road course guys, really big road course guys. You got others like that will specialize maybe at short tracks, for instance. I mean, Josh Berry, he shined a little bit. He's with the Wood Brothers now. So I think that, especially if there's not some huge change, I think that one of the big things is going to be specialization to make your way in, because at the end of the day, just making it is so big for a team payout wise. Like, at least that's my theory.
No, I agree. I mean, Ryan Preece at some of the flat tracks for RFK will be interesting. What you said though about this being a weaker lineup, I'd have to go line for line to compare it to last year, for example, because Harrison Burton's no longer in Cup. He was replaced by Josh Berry. I'd consider that an upgrade. But who did Riley Herbst replace? Because I don't know that Riley Herbst is going to be good this year.
Probably a Stuart Haas guy.
Yeah, who does he replace? Because that's what I would have to compare to. Because that's not super.
I would say he kind of just replaces Chase Briscoe, who steps into that Martin Truex Jr. role. That's kind of where I would place him now.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say if it's weaker than years past. I just like that it's more divide up. Stuart Haas had fallen off a cliff. I think we'd lost all hope that anyone outside of Briscoe was going to make any real noise there. Now their drivers are at RFK with Preece. I think they could be good. Front Row, up and coming. We'll see what Noah Gregson can do. And then the Wood Brothers, they've been a playoff team in the past. Can Josh Berry get them back there? I just like that all those, I think, talented Stuart Haas guys are now with different teams that are actually going somewhere, whereas Stuart Haas was spinning their wheels.
Okay, so I think I pulled it up on my end though, where each charter went.
Oh boy.
So Briscoe's charter, the 14, went to the 88 for Trackhouse. That's SVG.
Yeah, so he's to your point, he's a specialist, not going to be good at the ovals, but will be good everywhere out at the road courses.
The 4 goes to Front Row, which is now a tier 1 Ford team. I would argue that probably makes them equal. I would even say if they're able to perform stronger. I mean, they performed better last year.
Maybe.
What are the other ones? Because I'm probably going to be blanking left.
I think this might be a lost battle if we're trying. We're going to lose.
No. I have the whole. Bob has everything from 2016 through 2025 of which charters went where.
Forget racing reference. We just have Bob reference.
Let's see. call league stays the same, obviously. Well, I will say Ty Dillon and Daniel Hemrick. This might be a hot take for some people, but I think that's even. I really don't. I'm sorry, Daniel Hemrick in Cup. Like, did anyone remember he was in the field last year?
No. He did his job. I don't want to turn this into the Daniel Hemrick hate train. What happened in that ARCA race the other day? He ran an ARCA West race, the weakest of the 3 ARCA divisions for McAnally. And I looked up at one point and saw he was running like 9th out of 12 cars. I don't know where he finished. I think he drove his way back up to 2nd or 3rd and had a mechanical issue. But like Daniel Hemrick in an ARCA West field should dominate. Like that's not okay.
And that's
but it also could just be. It also could just be honestly just rustiness of that car. I mean, you want to think it should be easy, but it is a different car.
I need to like find out what happened in that race because I just saw the tweets and thought what is happening out in wherever they were racing? I don't even know where they were racing. It might have been Harvick's track. I forget where it was.
You know, I think we kind of covered the Cup side of things. We do have the 2 other top series to look at here. So I'm going to pop up the Xfinity side of things for a moment. And
real quick before you do that, I just want to touch on one more thing. How do you say Stenhouse's new team? Hayek, is that how you say that?
Hayatua
Motorsports?
Close enough.
She disappeared, by the way.
Spin out that thing.
Yeah. That's probably for the best that disappeared. But
yeah, we'll leave that meme in 2024.
What won't disappear is some of these new guys in the Xfinity series. And this is the one where the biggest, I think, moves have been made for a lot of people. I'm sorry, the one that draws my attention right off the bat.
Garrett Smithley.
Yes. No. No. Matt Benedetto Skolt. No, I'm kidding. Connor Zilich in the 88. So Eric and I, we were at the Kansas race, which to me, honestly, had he not been so damn good at Watkins Glen, would have probably been his statement race. And I think at an oval too, like I'm really looking forward to see what Connor Zilich can do in top tier equipment with consistency week in and week out, improving through the season. Like I think the Xfinity series this year, between the fact that we have like 9 rookies and a bunch of first timers or guys that are like in their second year, like it's going to be wild. Like, I think it's going to be reminiscent of like when Gregson and Ty Gibbs were there, where it's like every week there's going to be people that you got to beat, but there's always going to be people that can jump up and beat them too.
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to seeing Brandon Jones back in Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment. I feel like he dropped off so bad going to Junior Motorsports. It's like JRM's going to benefit from moving away from him, but I also feel like he can benefit by going back to Joe Gibbs Racing too.
Within Junior Motorsports alone, obviously of Connor Zilich, who what he did last season has built up immense hype. Now he's going to run a Cup race in a few weeks, like at 18 years old, really impressive. But Carson Kvapil, probably the better oval racer right now. I think he's also a couple years older than Zilich. So maybe, I don't know, experience level where they're at, but I imagine they're even, if not advantage Carson slightly. So this battle between Carson and Connor within the confines of JRM will be another very interesting fight for Rookie of the Year and maybe even like a championship 4 spot late in the year if all goes well.
Let's pop it up one more time here because I'm just another one to me that I'm kind of looking at, and I'm like, can he finally break through? Sheldon Creed, 0. He's for Haas now, the factory. I think let's just call it that. Let's just call it the factory. At this point.
I kind of like that.
He's racing for the factory. You know,
you're literally in one of the most dominant cars these last few seasons.
Yeah, he's in the they're in the Wonka machine now. I'm gonna put it in a poll in here. Will Sheldon Creed finally win? First poll of the year. And I'm just going to do a yes or no on this. Will Sheldon Creed finally win?
He has to, right?
I want him to get like 22 second place finishes, but win a championship by finishing second as somebody who's not in the championship for.
Actually, that would be hilarious. A Creed championship by finishing second. But he has to win this year. Not like in his career's over if he doesn't, but just like, the law of averages says he's due. I mean, from RCR to Gibbs to now the factory, which should be still very good Xfinity equipment. Like these are good cars, good opportunities. He's been so close. He's taken some opportunities from himself for sure. He's also faced some bad luck. I think back to that Darlington race at the end of last season where he ran up and passed his then teammate Christopher Bell late in the race, long green flag run. Like that was impressive. And then it came down to pit stops and late restarts, and he got shuffled out and finished third or second. I don't remember where he finished, didn't win. That was so deflating. That seemed like that was the race. But it just shows he keeps putting himself in position. Eventually it's going to happen. It has to be this year.
He was a pretty dominant Truck Series driver. He did win a championship there, correct? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, 2020.
He won a championship there. Has had tons of good moments. He literally just needs to embrace his name and take himself higher.
Can you finish higher? have that version of the song, but like the AI edit of Hank Hill singing it.
But before we move on past Xfinity, another teammate there, to Creed, is Sam Mayer. Remember last year, he was kind of making noise like, I want to go cup racing. I've won a lot. Why am I not getting more cup consideration? He's been very up and down his last couple seasons. Different team, different manufacturer. Can he find that consistency? Sam Mayer is still very young. Like he's like 20, right? I don't even know. He's like maybe 21, very young. Still a great career ahead of him. Just needs to find the consistency.
And he's a great driver that if Haas can get it together in the Cup Series and, do fine with one team for at least 2 years or so, maybe something happens that Kaulig decides it ain't worth having all these charters anymore. Maybe they end up buying another charter and then they go to a 2-car team at some point. Maybe he's a good driver to build around. You never know.
See, the biggest problem for me with Mayer is like he's so boomer bust. Like on one day he's winning and he's fulfilling the potential. The next day, or the next race, it's Danica.exe that's been put in, and it's just like he's in. Didn't he have like 7 DNFs or something last year?
It might have been more. That sounds low, but yeah, it was
when
a
we
lot.
first seen him in the Truck Series, it was like, okay, he was back then. He was same as we're seeing Connor Zilisch right now.
Wasn't like his first race or one of his first races he won Bristol?
Yeah,
it was like
17 years old.
It was like one of his first ones, and he won it.
Yeah.
God. Well, by the way, so I did look. He is 21. His birthday is in June of 2003, and I was like, damn, that makes me feel old. And then I remembered that Connor Zilisch was born the day after Cars came out in 2006, and I was like, damn, that's now I know how my parents felt when like back in 2009, they're like, oh my God, that Logano kid looks so young, and I'm like, no, he doesn't. Because I'm like 12, looking at Sam Mayer last year, because I want to get the definitive answer on this. He had 8 DNFs.
Okay.
Holy
I knew it was
crap. High. He had 8 DNFs, and then he had 3 wins too. So his average finish last year was 18th.
Brutal.
And one of those wins he took away from Ryan Sieg
by an inch.
I know Spencer in the chat is probably like just about that one. And then of course we had the Truck Series, some new rides here.
Hey, Berg in the chat. Hello.
I don't have the chat up on my end just yet, but the one that's sticking out for me, and this is probably because I'm more local now, I guess. Dawson Sutton in the
beat Kevin Harvick the other day, didn't he? Where was that race at?
It's in California.
Was it Kern County? Yeah, I think it was.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll be honest, like my off season's been a blur. So
I didn't watch it live. I just watched some of the clips afterwards and read some of the commentary. But that's very impressive. I mean, I know Harvick's past his prime, but you beat Kevin Harvick in a stock car type car. That's impressive.
Made the local media around here to Tennessee and talked about it because that's pretty, for them that's a big deal for what they see as a kid from Lebanon, Tennessee, beating a veteran like Harvick.
Well, and this isn't like just out of nowhere. I mean, he was dominant at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Howdy, John.
John.
Lead commentator at the Nashville Fairgrounds in the chat. Howdy. But the other part too is I was at this race too, Kansas last year again, where he was like top 5 at the end of the race. And there's been multiple times where he's running top 10 on speed. They do a good strategy and he gets a better finish, or might not get as good a finish thanks to the strategy. But like he showed real promise and speed. And to me, like, I'm not looking at him to go out and win a bunch of races. I don't want to overhype him by any means, but he could be one of those guys that out of nowhere is a fringe playoff guy. Rackley War was not anywhere near as bad in the past as it was last year. Like, there's a common denominator on that one.
Yeah, I think Rackley War, yes, with Matt DiBenedetto, they were a fringe playoff team. I think Dawson Sutton is at least Matt DiBenedetto adjacent. Like, I think they can pull similar results this year. It just comes down to how good is that 26 truck, really. It's probably a 15th place truck. Is this young Dawson Sutton kid good enough to drag him into the top 10 consistently? That's what it's going to come down to, I think. And if he can do that, he might nab a win and he might make the playoffs. And that would be really huge for him and that team. If you pull that list back up, Jarrett, Front Row Motorsports, Chandler Smith back down in trucks, going to be a championship threat, no doubt. But they moved Lane Riggs to the 34. Lane Riggs, the second half of last season, looked like a championship threat. So I think Front Row is going to be a little scary. Like, they're going to challenge Tricon. Well, specifically Corey Heim. I don't know about the rest of Tricon, but they're going to challenge Corey Heim. And you had Daniel Hemrick there in the 19. Like, that they'll be that we're starting to see, Ty Majeski still there as well. You're starting to see some front runners emerge, I think, even this early in the season.
Well, and Chandler Smith, I don't think it's over exaggeration to say this. I think this is another one of those like hot seat years. He was barely able to get sponsorship for a good ride in the truck series, a series lower.
Still surprises me.
Yeah, and after winning Xfinity races too. So it wasn't like he was some scrub who had to go down. It wasn't like he had, been a few years past his prime or anything. Was he setting the world on fire? No, but he was a fringe Final Four guy.
He was good.
What's going on in his representation camp? Why is he struggling so bad for this part of it? I just don't get it.
I mean, and part of it too is, you got to think too with the development programs of all these manufacturers, they get so, especially Toyota, gets so bogged down that, as soon as somebody's not performing, it's out the door into the next one.
Well, you look at Gibbs specifically in the Xfinity side, they pick guys with money for the most part. I mean, not saying William Sawalich doesn't have talent, but he's also got deep family money. We know Brandon Jones, why he's back with Gibbs. Like, that's, I think Chandler Smith, talented, some money, but it kind of just shows you how cutthroat it is, especially in the lower ranks nowadays. Like,
I mean, I saw some people talk about it. We can't overlook this. Haley Deegan is gone from the sport. She's moved on to other kind of racing ventures because it just wasn't for her.
Yeah. Funding wise, did not add up for Haley Deegan, which is also surprising.
But,
funding wise or performance wise, I guess.
Well, yes, that is true.
AM racing wise, how about that? But seat changes weren't the only things that changed. Part of it too, when it came to changes, was the schedule. And we got all three of those to pop up on here really quick.
Throw them up on the screen. Oh my gosh.
There's so much to look at here. We talked about it before the show, the fact, because this is at least what NASCAR put out, but the fact that Bowman Gray is on Big Fox, and then we have races like, Homestead, Las Vegas, Darlington, Texas, that are all bigger markets on FS1. That's something to notice. But I mean, just race changes. We'll talk about the TV in a bit later. Bowman Gray, the big one. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. That's happening this week. But you look at some of these other ones too that have moved around. You got the race in Mexico City. You have Nashville moved around the schedule. You see Darlington moved early.
All those short flat ovals in the playoffs. Gosh.
Yeah. Gateway, New Hampshire, Talladega's moved later. So we could talk about like what ones we like more, and we will get to that. But I kind of want to pose this question: which move in the schedule, whether it be the whole year, whether it be for someone's career, whatever it might be, what is going to be the most impactful move for the Cup Series schedule this year?
Ooh, most impactful. That is an interesting question. I mean, I think naturally I want to say Talladega being in the round of 8, seems like that's going to be extremely impactful. But I think if I can name 2 moves, I guess this past season, there were only 3 road course races in the regular season. This year, there's going to be 5 with the addition of Mexico City and Watkins Glen being pulled back out of the playoffs, put in the regular season. 5 road courses in the regular season. We already talked about is going to open the door for guys like SVG, Allmendinger, McDowell to make the playoffs. So I think that like Mexico City, maybe it's too obvious, like that's a huge addition to the schedule, could really impact who makes the playoffs.
And I think the month of June gives us a good bit of variety, I feel, looking at the schedule. We'll have a total of 5 races in June. We'll have Nashville Superspeedway, Michigan, Mexico City, Pocono, and Atlanta. That's a good little mix of variety that could even showcase a few random winners in that group.
So I'm going to kind of go a little outside the box, and I'll say these ones are the biggest move for a different reason than most are probably thinking. Gateway and New Hampshire in the playoffs. Now, I put up that chat earlier that's like, Bell and Penske are licking their chops, right?
True.
The other part of that, though, that I don't think people are thinking about is the fact that Team Penske was not exactly great last year. Blaney was good, but Cindric is Cindric. Like, we're not expecting much. Joey Logano was not great. We have all heard about that. Well, now you take 2 flat tracks out of the mix for them to win at, and they're the only tracks that they excel and really do well at. Cindric would have been out. That's Joey Logano was up front in those, and I'm assuming we're probably not going to get a monsoon again at New Hampshire. Knock on wood, at least. That could be very impactful. I'm just saying, like, those are 2 races that Blaney, Logano, or even Cindric could sneak up and get. That's something that Christopher Bell or even Chase Briscoe, opportunities that they would lose in the regular season to kind of bolster points up. And we know firsthand at races we've been at changes the last couple of years, like, just because you have a good track in the playoffs doesn't mean that it's going to be a normal race. Look at Watkins Glen this past year compared to years past when it wasn't in there. So I think that's going to actually be one of the biggest impactful changes that we have.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Now, going to the other series really quick, Xfinity pretty much mirrors it, honestly. Like, it's not exactly too different, except... And I think this is going to be the big news of the
week, really.
Of the week is The Rock. That's going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah. If you smell what The Rock is racing.
We got him in the intro.
April 18th and 19th is the Truck and Xfinity race. Return to Rockingham, freshly repaved. Yes, The Rock is back. The speeds it sounded at the test were kind of wild. Like, they were flying around that place. All the truck guys.
Did y'all see how many people? Did y'all see how many people came out just to see the test because they were just that excited to see cars back on track there?
There's a solid little crowd, more than 12 people, as Tommy Joe Martin said.
I am actually, I don't know, I didn't look too hard into it just because I was just excited like everyone else and geeking out as a fan. But I'm very interested on what Goodyear has for this race, because if you remember, I believe it was 2021, I want to say, there was supposed to be a late model race at the Rock, and it had to be canceled because they kept ripping up tires so bad. And that is classic for Rockingham. I mean,
what
it was
year
that
was
way
that,
with the old service. 21 or 22. It was like in the early 2020s.
Years ago.
Because I remember, like, Slap was going to go to it. Might have even been last year for all I know.
But that was, I think that was before. So that would have been probably, if it was 21 or 22, that would have been before they repaved it. They repaved it the winter going into 23.
But now you have faster speeds than you would have then.
Oh, no, I'm not saying there won't be problems. We've seen freshly repaved tracks, blowouts are very common.
Go on Twitter if you haven't seen it yet. Raja Karoof posted a GoPro footage of him testing in it, and it just looks like he has so much control in the truck. He has so much grip driving it. This track looks like it drives so good, which all I know is the old video games. Old video games, it's one of my favorite tracks to drive on because especially the modifieds. I love driving those on Rockingham. Had so much grip. I imagine it's going to be a fun track for the driver. It's going to be a fun track to watch as a fan too, I imagine. Hopefully people show up to it. You talk about the repaves. A few years back, North Carolina government got all that money going into there to help, do a lot of these renovations. That's what helped speed up the North Wilkesboro project, because originally, if you recall, that was going to go like a race on the old asphalt, and then they were going to tear it up, do a dirt race or something like that, and then repave it. But it sped up the whole project, and that just become repaved. And so did Rockingham. A lot of good things come out of that racing wise.
Yeah, it is a fully driver's track, which is good. Like, because everyone talking about it, it's like you'd think that like they got $1,000,000 for Christmas, the way that they were talking about how this track drives, and I am so excited for it. Like, and the fact that that'll be the lone weekend this year that we don't have a cup race after Super Bowl Sunday, and
That's
the
right.
Xfinity guys will be front and center for the entire racing world in America. Like, they're going to be the top series on TV in America that week. The truck guys too. I mean, they'll be racing on Friday night. We'll look at that in a moment, but I'm stoked, man. And looking at some of these other moves again, it's mostly mirroring the cup schedule. I would say personally it's the truck schedule that had probably some of the biggest kind of moves outside of just the cup side of it. So we'll pop them on screen here.
Lime Rock Park.
Yes, and they got Lime Rock, and I noticed that you don't have really too big of a gap of races at any point like you used to. Like the summer, it used to be like, I remember one year, I think it was like they had 2 months off or something. It's like, where the hell did the trucks go?
Jeez.
If you look actually from Texas all the way until Michigan, it's truck races every single week. Texas, Kansas, Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville,
Good for
and
them.
Michigan. So
I love that
more
they have a few
consistent.
races on Fox as well. Like the trucks have 2 or 3 races, I believe, on Big Fox, which is good for them.
Well, I can pop that on screen really quick because that kind of leads right into the way we're looking on the TV side here.
Oh man, more new stuff. Oh,
So this is the part where we get a little in the weeds.
so apologies to our listening audience. Jared has just thrown together a very nice, honestly, one of the more clear TV graphics I've seen since this monstrous new marketing or media deal was introduced. But it's difficult to put into words. So if you're not watching on YouTube, I apologize.
I will do my best really quick without making it just a giant word salad.
Xfinity is the easiest to explain.
Yes, every race on the CW app should work, but until proven otherwise, we're not going to assume because that makes an ass of you and me. Trucks are easy too. Everything's on the Fox Sports family of networks. I believe it is Lime Rock, Michigan, and Homestead are the only ones on Big Fox, or I should say the 3 on Big Fox. Rest are FS1. The Cup Series is where it's just amazing. It's great, fun. I love it. Totally. When it comes to explaining, so there's Bowman Gray this week. Obviously, that is going to be on Big Fox if NASCAR's website will allow me to look at it. Daytona 500, Atlanta, Coda, as well as Talladega. Those are on Big Fox. Rest of the races through the All-Star race are on FS1. After that, there's 5 races from the 600 until Pocono that are on Prime, exclusively streamed, and there's been no word if they'll be on Twitch or not. So until then, we'll assume not. From
It's going to
Atlanta,
be very fun to see Dale Jr. call a Coke 600, I think.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He should be the Grand Marshal for it. That's my take on it. Just the way DW used to do for Bristol. So from Atlanta until the Brickyard is all on TNT. That will be the in-season tournament as well. We can kind of talk about that in a moment. And then the rest of the season, last 14 races are on the NBC family of networks. Every race is on USA except for Daytona at the end of the summer, and the last 3 races of the season at Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix for the finale. I think I got it as concise
Pretty
as I
good.
could possibly.
We could go up into the weeds about where practice and qualifying will be shown, but that's just gonna, people can look that up at their own on their own.
As I see some people saying that they don't have Prime, I get that. My biggest suggestion to you guys: download the NASCAR app. You can listen to the radio broadcast. You at least still have a way to know what's happening in the race. It is what it is.
I haven't looked into it, what they revealed today, but HBO Max now, it's not HBO Max, just Max. The streaming service is going to be have in-car audio and in-car cameras and more, I believe, for, I don't know if it's the full season. Do they say if it's for the full year or is it just for select races?
I'm not sure. I just know that I saw the picture of the of like how it'll look graphics wise and stuff, and it's like a perfect mix of NASCAR Hot Pass and NASCAR Race Buddy in the 2000s. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, every cup race will have full audio video for every car, real-time driver data, and a leaderboard. Every race, every cup race this year, if you have Max, which I do, I got a lot of DC superhero stuff. What else is on Max? Harry Potter, anything Warner Brothers. Last of Us show. And I've always liked Max. I think they used to have it. They may still have all the old like Cartoon Network stuff on there. If you have Max, you can have real-time in-car audio and video for every car for every race this year, not just the 5 Max races. That's pretty cool.
They should do a Cartoon Network simulcast just like they do for Nickelodeon NFL games and have Ed and Eddie commentating a NASCAR race.
Is Cartoon Network still around? I thought they went under.
I think they rebranded. I'm saying the old Cartoon Network shows.
Like, they still have the rights to the shows and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think the
library.
channel itself went away.
But yeah, on screen from Napa Racing Fan, qualifying and practice, first half Prime, second half True TV and Max. So it will be on television for practice and qualifying, second half FS1 for the Clash 500 and All-Star race. So just to clear that up, and Napa, your comment ain't going away.
Oh man, he's stuck there. That's the show. Oh, there he goes.
Okay. Now, what else do we got? We have so much stuff to go over.
Yeah, we can, as far as broadcast stuff, I know we have the different broadcast booths. I'm excited to see Adam Alexander, Parker Kligerman, and Jamie McMurray call every Xfinity race. I think that's going to be a really strong trio.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we really wanted to mention there. Dale Jr. obviously anchoring not just the Max TNT, but also the Prime races.
I want to ask with the NBC booth. So I know that Burton and Diffie for sure, they've been confirmed coming back. Was there anything on Steve Letarte, or is that just assumed that he's coming back?
I can't remember if I don't know if they formally announced it, but I think it is expected that Letarte will stay with NBC.
So he's taking kind of, granted, this was a pit reporter, but Matt Yoakum, he used to just do the entire season, like back in the day when it was Fox and NBC and like the early 2000s, because he was the one that Junior said, "It don't mean blank right now," and got penalized for. I only remember that because I had that big ass NASCAR book that had like all the pictures and history. Well, actually, hold on, there it is,
Guy's big NASCAR book.
And I remember reading that he had said it to him, and that.
To my knowledge, there's nothing. There was some rumors last year, but not anything ever come out of it. There's nothing about Alan Bestwick doing anything this year, is there?
No, he did get followed by Prime Sports though, and they follow each other. So that was interesting, but nobody really, nobody I think has confirmed anything. It's just more reckless speculation at this point when it comes to old Alan.
There's also the NASCAR channel on Tubi that just launched. I have not watched any of that yet, but that's free ad-supported TV. It's like online television, I guess.
I will say, I get at least the streaming side, like if not wanting to buy Prime and stuff like that, but like basically every other race, like I don't understand the excuse, except if you live in an area without internet, really, of like I can't watch the race. Like I get cable, but like some of these, like a lot of these cable races will be on Tubi with FS1 because Tubi is owned by Fox. Yeah, there's so many different ways to watch. I think it's up to NASCAR, I think, to communicate it to fans at this point.
And cable subscriptions continue to drop year in, year out, but it's not exactly a new thing for NASCAR fans. Like NASCAR races have been on FS1, USA Network, and TNT for that matter for much of the past, basically the entire 21st century. And so like, it's not a new thing. It's frustrating that as a fan, I still can't pick one. Like I wish I could just subscribe to cable and get all the sports I want. I wish I could just pick a couple of streaming services to get all the sports I want. Instead, I can't. I have to still kind of do both month to month, update, renew, cancel. Like the fans do have to put in more work and probably have to spend a little more money this year to watch every cup race. And that's frustrating. I hope at the very least the Prime and Turner broadcasts try something new. Bring some new ideas to the table, maybe a new structure, new format. I know from people we've talked to that Dale Jr. has been very active, especially on the Turner, and I assume probably the Amazon side as well, trying to kind of take creative control of the broadcast in some respects. I hope they listen to him. I hope they've got some good ideas, because if it's going to be harder to watch the races, I hope the product is better at the very least.
Real quick, I saw this in the chat, and I wanted to make sure for sure, but on it, off topic of NASCAR, but Bob Pockers had tweeted out Ford announces it will compete in the World Endurance Championship in 2027 with a new prototype. So Ford's investing into racing. I think that's what we can take out of that. Overall, not much on the NASCAR side, but when it comes to some of the other changes, which, by the way, you brought up about cord cutting, Comcast lost 4 million total subscribers last year alone.
Yeah, no, cable continues to drop. Amazon Prime subscriptions, for what it's worth, continue to go up year after year. Right now, nearly 3 times as many people subscribe to Amazon Prime than traditional cable in the U.S.
Honestly, the only thing it'll change this year of NASCAR, I'm sure, but the only thing I ever watch through Amazon Prime stuff is just an occasional football game. Really, Amazon Prime is just working for the shopping advantage alone.
Oh yeah, I have it for the free shipping.
Well,
that's why I've had it.
I'll be honest, so I do partake in watching shows on Amazon Prime. I'd watch The Boys stuff and like Has Been Hotel, and I recently just got done watching. Just got done watching Vox Machina. So it's a very, I would say, pretty good service. I've been a little more bullish than most NASCAR fans. They don't want to fuel evil Bezos. But it honestly isn't that bad of a service in any way. It blows Netflix broadcasts out of the water. I'll say that.
The Thursday night football broadcasts I've seen, at least this year, were pretty strong. I know when they first launched, it was a little awkward sometimes, a little clumsy, but I feel like recently they found their stride and it looks good.
Yeah, it's going to have its problems for sure. I think the biggest one's going to be signal and stuff like that. Some of these tracks are in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and it's probably going to be difficult to stream that, and they might run into issues. I'm fully expecting that to happen. The big positive for me though is there's no broadcast window. They can go on forever if they want to.
That's true.
If Daytona gets rain till 4 o'clock in the morning, hypothetically, if Prime were to cover it, they could race. Fox doesn't have to pull the plug like they did in the 600, or Fox would pull the plug in the 600. Prime wouldn't have to. Those are kind of the positives, I guess. I just know there are some negatives people look at with it.
The negatives going to make sure that Kyle Larson gets to do the double.
I'm very intrigued by it. I know a lot of people are against it, but I'm intrigued by it.
As someone who's going to pay for Amazon Prime anyways, I'm excited for it, but I understand why some people would be like, gosh, really? I get it. So I'm kind of on the fence.
I just think we're going full circle, right? This is the way that broadcasting goes forever. For the longest time, it was all of the main networks were on the radio. They switched to the TV, and all the main networks got their stuff and cable, and they jacked up the prices, and now it's low again and more accessible with the signal for streaming, and we're getting all the same players back on that. We just have some new ones. That's the way it is right now. We're in the middle of a cycle. That's how I kind of see it. It sucks that NASCAR's on so many channels, and it's going to be so much harder to find it week after week and changing all the time. And we said it last year, NASCAR's chasing the money on it, and they got the bag for what it's worth. But so those are schedule stuff. We got the driver changes, and now we have some major rules changes I can pop up on the screen for us. At least the biggest ones. We have the DVP overhaul, changes to the waiver system, and now the OEM penalties. I think those are the 3 biggest we've seen this offseason.
I like all of them. I'm just going to say it. I like them all for different reasons. I think the DVP overhaul ultimately gets rid of the DVP in a lot of respects. I think the only way it's really going to interfere with the driver's race, it sounds like, is if they have 3 or 4 flat tires and have to be towed back. That's still, you're going to lose a couple laps, probably bare minimum.
Because you have to be towed back to the garage.
Yeah, that sucks. But assuming you don't have 4 flat tires, it's kind of the old way of doing things in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
A few little wrinkles here and there, but I don't think the fans are, I don't think the details are going to make a big enough difference for fans to care about them. I think big picture, unless you get 4 flat tires, it's kind of like how it used to be. So I think these are good common sense changes.
That, I think the DVP part, that's what it should have been. This is what should have been from the start, honestly. Now the flat tire stuff, that's next gen, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think that we should have had that be the ability of like be able to continue a race. Just because X, Y, or Z weird thing might happen doesn't mean you have to lose a bunch of points and stuff like that. So I really like, I'll give like a B+ because I'm not crazy about the flat tire part. I think that could have been ironed out better on the DVP part.
But to your point, I think that's more of just the next gen cars problem. The fact that a
Which
flat
NASCAR
tire
should fix.
Yeah, but it's a harder fix overnight than a rule change, So like I'll at least B+ is a fair score. I think that's fine.
I just think with the flat tire thing, man, like it's been we're going in year 4 or whatever.
But what can you do? Like what are you gonna do?
It's NASCAR's fault for designing a flawed car.
I'm saying they'd have to design a whole new car, which that's just not in the budget.
Well, that's a problem that they did. That's my point. Is like the problem they did is they designed a brand new car.
I'm just saying, how do you should I don't expect
we all could have seen that coming. Like we all saw that. Like,
I'm just saying, but like
them, not the teams.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm just saying, like, I don't expect them to fix it for probably 8 more years minimum. Like, I don't think they're fixing it anytime soon.
And really, OEM standard manufacturer cars are going to change so much between now and then. It's just going to be changed even more to match up with what the street cars are. So,
yeah, and
I'll be running hatchbacks.
The waiver changes. This is totally just the Kyle Larson rule. Like, let's just call it what it is. The OEM penalties. The thing is, the OEM penalties I like in practice. Does NASCAR have the stones to use the rule?
100%. That's where I come down. I think it's written as well as it can be written. It's still vague, but I like that that's now in the rule book that OEMs can face real penalties that go beyond just the racetrack. That's good, but exactly what you said. NASCAR needs Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. Really, they do. Like they
need them more than they need NASCAR.
Yeah, as you just said, Ford's going off trying, WEC, GM's going Formula One racing. These guys are broadening their motorsports portfolios. NASCAR is becoming just a drop in the bucket to them. Not the biggest deal in the world, but to NASCAR, losing any one of these manufacturers, pissing off the wrong person could put a huge dent in your business.
I think that the more OEMs that they get in the sport, like if Honda comes over and we have 4, if Dodge came back with Honda or whatever, and then we have 5, like the more OEMs we have, the more water I think this rule holds, because NASCAR has the ability. If this was 20 years ago,
they have more security. Yeah.
If this was 20 years ago, I think that this rule was like, whoa, man, like that the manufacturers need NASCAR more than NASCAR would need them at that point.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I mean, if Chevy gets pissed or something, or Toyota gets pissed, if one of them pulls out and we have 2 OEMs and we have like 12 different cars a week, roughly, one way or the other, maybe 10, 14, whatever it might be, that have to get a new one, and that new weight on the 2 remaining ones, like I just don't think NASCAR is going to enforce it. I think that this was merely words for now, unless they do something like majorly wrong. Like I think that they should push the issue. Like if the competition wise, the OEM should push the issue on NASCAR, put it in their court again.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what they do.
I can't wait for someone to do it. I can't wait, man.
Because NASCAR's they've made some big, I wasn't sure they would suspend Chase Elliott 2 years ago, and they did. And I was like, wow, okay. So like NASCAR has made, and I'll say, suspending Chase Elliott for 1 race versus potentially pissing off all of Chevrolet, for example, 2 different things. But I guess all I'm trying to say is NASCAR has made some tough call, like stripping Austin Dillon of playoff eligibility. Whoa, that was a big boy call. So they've made some risky calls, the past couple of years to their credit.
Ultimately pissing off, quite frankly, one of the most famous team owners. I mean, it may not be the same as it used to be, but that's Dale Earnhardt's car owner. You could piss off a lot of people.
You disqualified the 3, huh? There's.
It may not like the new driver 3, but that's Richard Childers. You don't do that.
I'll give him that. I just think that the common denominator with all of those, doesn't matter how big or Kendrick is or the 3 or any of that, it's still NASCAR punching down. And NASCAR going after the OEMs is the difference is now I think they're punching up. I want to see somebody push it. I do. I want to see the ball get put in NASCAR's court and them have to, on the broadcast, do something about it. Like Like
Nah,
at one
NASCAR is
point.
so lucky that Christopher Bell rode the wall at Martinsville, man. I still think so because we would have been there all night with them trying to decide what they were going to do if he hadn't ridden the wall, because that would have been a tough call.
I just can't look back. I still can't believe he even tried it. He knew he shouldn't have.
He just get that foot off the gas, bro. It's not that he just got tight. He just got a little, not like car tight. He just just bunched up under the pressure and just lost it for a second.
One of my brakes failed.
Telemetry shows it, damn it. No, I'm very intrigued of how they enforce this. Some of the other, we talked about the waiver rule a little bit, basically non-medical waivers or non-essential waivers, I would say, wipe all of your playoff points away. So like Kyle Larson would have started with 0 playoff points.
There's a few, there's some issues I guess I do have. I give this one a B+ as well. Only because it's just weird that I don't know, because it implies that if you're suspended for right rearing someone in the heat of the moment, you make a bad call. If you get suspended, that suggests you will now you'll get your waiver, sure, but you will lose all playoff points. Not only that you've collected up to that point, but that you collect for the rest of the season. No longer count. I just worry, take Chase Elliott in the Coke 600 2 years ago. Right rears Hamlin, gets suspended, would have lost his playoff points then, and for the next 12 weeks or so, would have had absolutely nothing to race for. Nothing. Because I think at that point in the year, he might have already had a win, so he was locked into the playoffs, but he was guaranteed to have 0 playoff points no matter what he did. So for 12 weeks, Chase Elliott would have had absolutely nothing. Oh, that was 23. He missed. You're right.
Yeah, he missed.
But you're right. He missed in 23. So I guess he was still racing to try and win a race to get in. But assume Chase Elliott in a normal year has a win like he did this year. He got the win early at Texas. Assume he's already locked in. There's nothing to race for. There's no reason to race for stage points, no reason to race for stage wins. You're racing for a trophy, I guess, and purse money, which doesn't matter that much in the regular season, but you're not racing for much anything else. And that's my only concern is if you do something early in the year, it could just, there's that one ghost car now on track for the rest of the regular season that's not really doing, has nothing to race for, that's just kind of weird. I don't like that. It's the same way I don't like the idea of rewarding the regular season champion with an automatic championship 4 berth, because then that means for 9 weeks, they have nothing to race for. I don't like that. There should be something to race for every week.
I think to push back at least NASCAR side of it is, one, prioritize NASCAR. At least I know from what we've all heard and people we know that more in the know and stuff, top brass at NASCAR did not take kindly to a crown jewel being treated like, I can miss it for another series. I get the Indy 500 for us fans, and for drivers that means more.
And I think NASCAR had every right to be upset by what Kyle Larson did. I think they were completely valid to feel gypped.
But at the same time, no rule about it. They had to close that on their end. At least that's probably their thinking. I think with the suspension front of it, I think NASCAR's thinking, I don't know if it's 100% right, but I guess where I can get on board a little bit is don't be a dumbass. Don't be a dumbass like Chase Elliott was, like Bubba Wallace was, some of these other guys who have done the same kind of thing. I'm with you on that. I don't like resetting to the point that it's a pointless endeavor to be out there every week. Obviously you win, obviously you do stuff like that and whatever. It's very reminiscent of, I believe, the 3rd or 4th year NASCAR was around. Lee Petty went and raced in a different series, and they just stripped him of all his points and made him start from 0 in the middle of June, and he lost the championship because of that. That was the difference of his championship. It's a very old school NASCAR rule, if there ever was one, from Big Bill France.
I think if I tweak this rule, I would have just said, instead of, hey, you go back to 0, I would say you're docked 10 playoff points.
Even you're to 0, and then from that point,
but then a suspension in August hurts more than a suspension in March. You know what I mean? I mean, at least in March you have time to build your playoff points back up. Whereas in August, if you go to 0,
What do you guys think of this one? I want to know both your guys' thought on this, because this is an idea I had. Is maybe you give an either or. It's you're suspended and your points from that race are stripped, but you keep your playoff points, or you lose your playoff points, but you're not suspended. like they'll probably take the suspension.
They
It
take the
still
suspension.
hurts. Sponsorship is hurt by it.
Yeah,
the
no, I
OEM
don't think you
team.
give them that choice because I think that they just take the suspension 99%, unless the next race was like the Daytona 500, but it wouldn't be. So I don't think they would do that. Yeah, that's my only change I would make. There's instead of just go back to 0 and you can't build back up, I just say dock them 10. And if you're at 5, you're at -5 now, buddy. Better get to work. Like you better go race well the next few
Sell
months.
real estate, buddy.
Yeah.
Side note, I know we're gonna get the Super Jets later, but this Thomas guy, I don't think he realized that Eric was on his honeymoon while this news come out about Red Bull, so that's why.
Oh yeah, and I didn't include it in my video today yet, but it is exciting. I mean, it's cool. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on this show.
Yeah. Let's see. We talked about like where practice sessions will be and stuff like that. But on the practice and qualifying front, there are 50-minute practice sessions for select races this year, like Clash, the 500, All-Star Race, Mexico, Indy, and the finale for the Cup side. Basically what it is, to kind of break it down in simpler terms so I'm not just reading lists, is main like crown jewel races or new tracks for series, or tracks that have had major changes like a repave, new tire, new package,
reconfiguration.
Yes, stuff like that. That's basically those where you'll get your 50-minute practice sessions for this year. Your real practice sessions, not just sort of like hot laps. Group practices will go from 20 to 25 minutes, though, on the other weekends that you don't have. We'll have single round qualifying at all tracks except super speedways, where they'll keep the same one, the top 10 round. And we're not doing this is the big one. We're not doing that row shit anymore, where we just qualify for like outside, inside. It's like actual speed sets the field. So we don't have like, hey, second place is 0.3 a second faster than the pole sitter.
It made
I'm not
sense
gonna
why
lie.
they're doing. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
The change, the qualifying, I love it because that's traditional. That's the way I think it should be. But if I've ever seen a move that I feel may have been influenced by who's making the video game, I feel like it could be this, because iRacing itself runs off of a typical traditional qualifying system. And I almost wonder, they've been part of NASCAR in a lot of ways for many years. Did they have any say in like, hey, can you just do this because it's easier? I don't know.
That's an interesting theory.
It would make it easier for them for sure.
That's one of my stupid thoughts, but also like they're influential enough I could see it.
One last big thing on the qualifying session here. It's single lap at every track except short tracks that get 2 laps. So it'll be bang, 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 like really quick.
And someone in the comments mentioned it is still group qualifying for road courses, right? So like that hasn't changed much. Just the ovals are back to one at a time.
Honestly, it's pretty much what we've been asking for.
Yeah, it's simple. It's simple, which I think for something like qualifying is what you need. I think the idea, I think they tried to make qualifying, especially like a TV product that people actually wanted to watch, with the like group qualifying and then knockout round qualifying. But I just think at the end of the day, qualifying is qualifying. And in NASCAR, it's not, the races are 400 or 500 miles long. Like qualifying matters in most tracks. It's not the most important thing. And so I just think it's important to keep it simple, straightforward. You feel like the best cars, the best teams get to the front, and people, the hardcores will watch anyways. You're just not the casual fan. We're having a hard enough time getting the casual fan to watch the races. You're not getting a casual fan to watch every qualifying session. So just keep it simple.
I just know, like, I always say, back when I was a kid, we had Speed Channel. They would just make it fun all weekend. You had some, morning shows. You had, your trackside lives, and then you just had, we're going right into qualifying. We're going to show you all the drivers, tell you all about them as they're making their laps, tell you everything you need to know about them, little fun facts about them. And then that was just, you just loved it. You had to tune into it back then. I would love for it to feel the same way today. It just doesn't anymore.
I'll be honest. If they could get that feel back, like that was the kind of thing that, like, the biggest moment for me that I ever missed having a qualifying session that's simple like this, where each person, each car can get their own moment, their story behind it. So when we were on the car in Darlington, I was like, we had our moment, and that was awesome. Like hearing Mike Joy and Clint Boyer talk about a car,
cracking
with all of
jokes,
us on
not
it.
being out of the groove.
Yeah,
That was
like
classic.
that was cool. Like it was really cool, but it's like, but I go back and it's like a 10-second thing. It's like if we had like full lap, now maybe they do what they did back in the day and they go to commercial on us, but like, you know what? That'd be a good
That's probably
story
true.
too.
That's yeah.
But that's kind of like my thinking on that. I like the changes for the most part. I have been
All these
harping against
changes
it for
mostly get
years.
like a B plus. I think what you said earlier, Jared, was about right. I feel B plus for most of these changes.
Well, and the thing for NASCAR, especially with the boat they got put in largely in their own doing at the end of last year, and with a lot of the changes they made during the year that weren't great and very controversial, like I will take a B plus. I will take
Yeah.
changes that are mostly pretty good and can be tweaked and not have wholesale changes again for them. Just get out of your own way, NASCAR. And so far you've done that.
With qualifying, especially, I think they've done that. So I'm happy.
All right. Last big storylines. We can kind of like lightning round this, each of us.
Ooh.
We got some big storylines to cover. The chat can't see, but you guys can. Of these, I believe I have 7 of them. Danny, I want you to go first. Which one's catching your eye as like a big storyline we should follow?
Kyle Busch on a 49 race winless streak.
I think we could
I
pile
can't
on
say-
top of
I
that Kyle
can't-
Busch in a contract year, as far as we
Yes.
understand.
I can't stress this enough. I, for the longest time, was a big Kyle Busch hater. I was right in line of everyone who booed him at
Same.
Bristol every year. But now I just want to see the man win again. He is who I am rooting for to win the Daytona 500. I want to see him for Richard Childress due to 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration all over again. I want to see Kyle Busch win a Daytona 500. I want to see him win this year because he come close last year. But I really want to see him win a Daytona 500 if he wins any other race this year.
When I was at Kansas in the stands with my dad last year, I was like, as soon as he spun, I was like, no,
I couldn't believe
no. Like I was like my full Paul Allen kind of moment here. Like I was like, just, and I like leaned over to my dad after. I'm like, Dad, I never thought I'd see the day. And I've been watching this sport for over 20 years. I never thought I'd see the day that I was upset Kyle Busch didn't win. I was like, what is wrong? Like, as an Earnhardt fan, like I feel the flames of hell coming up after me. Like, what is wrong with me? But like, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I want to see Kyle win.
I think deep down, like he won't really say it like some of the old drivers would, but I feel like Kyle Busch wants to win a Daytona 500 really bad too. He probably won't say it as much, but I feel like he wants to. I feel like if he could get that one off his list, I think he could be content retiring in the next couple of years if he decided to.
I don't want to see that just yet, but I'd love to see him win the Daytona 500.
If the
That would be
speed
a fun
continues to not
story.
be there, he won't really want to do it because he doesn't. I think he'll be like, I don't want to do this if it's not fun anymore.
He'll go get that truck championship to check that box off, and then
I hope he does that too. I want to see him do that.
All right, Eric, what one catches your eye of these ones that we have on our?
Well, I guess we'll talk about this one briefly. NASCAR deciding not to make any changes to the playoffs after sort of, wink, wink, nudge, nudging most of the offseason. I don't hate this call. I don't think it was in NASCAR's best interest to constantly change, adjust, and sometimes outright overhaul the format every 2 to 3 years. From 2004 to 2017, they changed the format like 7 times. Usually it was small changes. Hey, we added 2 wild card spots. Sometimes it was big changes like 2014 and then stage racing in 2017. Like they got
rid of the 400-point rule at the start. People forget, like in I think 2005 or 6, they got rid of the 400-point rule. Like they made changes like every other year.
Yeah. And I just think, you can say what you will about one format being worse or better than another. Some of them may be more legitimate than others. Maybe the current format lacks a lot of legitimacy. That's all arguable. What I don't think is arguable is that changing the format constantly definitely hurt the championship's legitimacy for about a decade and a half there. So they've done a pretty good job of kind of holding course with the same format now for 7 or 8 years. Very few, if any, notable changes I can think of. So if you're going to make a change, do it in one fell swoop. Do it for 2026 where you can build a better schedule that might fit your new format better. Because that's the problem. I want like a 3-race final round. If they had done that for 2025, it would have included Talladega, which a little crazy, might be a little insane. So waiting hopefully until 2026 to make notable changes, I'm okay with. My concern is if they don't make any playoff changes, but I'm okay with them holding off for the time being.
And supposedly they are going to have a panel of some kind is going to properly review everything throughout this entire season and just really take a look at everything.
Something like that. Who knows?
Well, so I have a few theories. And again, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna cover this under reckless speculation right now because I don't want to like everyone being like, "Oh, he said this is gonna like." No, like, we're gonna cover this like this. So I have a theory on one front. I think NASCAR really does want to solve the issues they've made with it, and I think they've wanted to change it. I know a few sources I've heard from have said like even back in like June, July, talks were already well on their way about like what can we do to either enhance what we have or just make some wholesale changes. I think they talk about stakeholders. That's NBC. Like NBC is the big stakeholder here,
the biggest for sure.
My deal is I don't see any way that they would want to split up the big NBC races at the end of the year. It's bad enough Daytona is going to have to be as far removed from it, but I think they want big NBC races to kind of end the season. So they end the season on a high note. More people can see it. Whereas like, they could have Talladega earlier in it and like around before the final round and whatnot. My thing is if they're going to keep Talladega in the final 3 races to keep the TV side happy, you might as well just make it the finale at that point because well, think about it. If you're going to have it in the championship race, it's going to matter the same either way. Like it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a crapshoot. No one's going to be happy. You might as well at least get the biggest bang for your buck out of it. I don't want this. I don't want it. But I'm telling you,
stop talking about it. Don't give them any. Don't because they're gonna think you do want it. They're like, oh, he's okay with it. Let's do it.
No. My point is like I think this is what TV's been pushing for years. Hell, at one point the TV guys wanted Daytona as the finale.
Yeah,
like this is not something I conjured up out of my ass. This has been like talked about since the 80s. Like this is. And it's the same thing with playoffs. Like that was talked about since the early 90s, and then the chase came in 04. My point is like if you're gonna make wholesale changes, you can't leave the same loopholes open just in different places of the schedule when it comes to a final round, because then you're gonna have manipulation again. Like you got to have a broader sample size. I am all for let's hit the middle ground here. Playoff points the way they are now, and have a final 10 race. You can have 16 for all I care, because those guys that suck will not be able to have a 10 race, unless it's Joey Logano in an even year, a 10 race really good run if they suck all year. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I just want to send out a personal message to, I Googled Rick Cordella. He is the president of NBC Sports. Rick, if you're out there listening to this, please do not end the NASCAR season at Talladega Speedway. Whatever you
or
do,
Daytona.
Or Daytona or Atlanta.
Yeah.
Do not finish the season with the super speedway. No. We are begging you. I am on my knees
to say that Atlanta shouldn't end it. It used to for years.
I know.
Yeah.
Throw tradition out this one time. Please. Rick Cordella. I hope Google didn't steer me wrong here.
Yeah. And for that matter, if you have a final round, I don't even want in the final round. Like if we're going to make this change to try and legitimize more, you need to go the full distance. No half measures.
End it at Richmond before you end it at a super speedway.
Any super don't do it as
option tire.
Yeah, don't do it as super speedway. I'd say don't do it at a road course personally, just because the specialist, all that,
Rick, do exactly what I'm telling you to do right now. Don't listen to anybody else.
Homestead, damn it. Homestead.
Rick, listen to this show.
Hopefully the renovations that they're going to do are good and we're back to normal.
So kind of, we'll kind of do a snake draft here. So I'll do 2 more and then we'll go back the same order for the other storylines to kind of look at. The first one, the big one, is going to be what comes out of the lawsuit with 2311 in front row. I know people are sick of hearing about it already. The judge, from what it sounds like, said that it should be over before the 26th season. Fully, you got the injunction that was granted. What dirt's going to come out? Like, that's my big question too, is what dirt is going to come out? Michael Jordan is not going to go into court unless he has the best of the best with him in any way, whether it be case, whether it be legal team, all of that. I am very intrigued what would come out if they let any of it. But it's going to come out all year.
Tyler Reddick's car this weekend is just asking for trouble.
Oh yeah. Dude, anything that happens against front row or 2311 penalty wise is going to be hyper scrutinized. Like everything.
the 2311 picked a hell of a time to run that throwback type scheme this weekend. For sure, that was not an accident. I mean, the fact that they posted that graphic, took it down, put it back up, not an accident. I think they knew
not
what they were
on
doing.
accident whatsoever. They're definitely asking for trouble, and
They're trying to make a statement. I don't know if they're asking for trouble. They're just trying to they're trying to send a message.
I think
it's delivered.
I think they're throwing out a little bait.
It's definitely bait is the best word to describe it. They're not asking for trouble, but they are trying to bait NASCAR a little bit, and they're definitely playing into this probably a little bit more than they probably should.
I can't wait for like if something happens with Bubba and you have all the people that are like, against NASCAR for the longest time and stick it to the man, but it's Bubba Wallace, so they're like, NASCAR's always been right, damn it. This is what Dale would have wanted.
That is called getting caught between a rock and a hard place. The rock is NASCAR, the hard place is the 23.
I'm gonna enjoy watching any comments that come from Facebook this year. I'm just gonna be like, that's interesting. You say that.
The standards will be doubling, I imagine.
real quick, Milo Gunther asked what throwback did 2311 do? This weekend's car for Tyler Reddick, he is running it's an Air Jordan car, which is throwing back to an unabandonable shoe that back when they were having issues with the NBA and they didn't want to allow their shoe, and they had people kind of like doing that with just basically the taped up logo saying like, oh, you can't ban it, stuff like that. That's kind of what it's going back to.
Yeah, so the logo on the car is the Jordan logo with like a black bar through it. So
okay, like Jared, I see you. I see you pinning our old friend Peter there.
So to another story. This one's I'm very interested with as well, for obvious reasons. I've heard rumors. I know Pete Pistone talked a bit about this. Will Chicago re-up for the street race with NASCAR? Now, it is worth noting when it comes to the street race. Now, I will not get into any thoughts on the particular people and their beliefs, more just street races deal with politics, and it is worth noting that the Chicago mayor has gotten himself into a bit of trouble when it comes to donations and is now very unpopular and might need something to re-up or re-energize when it comes to popularity ratings and stuff like that.
It'll be that Formula One race.
I don't care what you guys say. I'm counting it. Alex Bowman, track killer again.
I'm just saying that could be a part of it, but Pete Pistone, from what the chat was telling me, was saying that at least the rumors are Chicagoland back in 26. There might be a San Diego street race in the place of the Chicago one. They keep the areas alive.
Chicagoland comes back. Technically, Bowman it cancels each other out. So for his track killing.
It's a neutral killing. I'm just saying it's going to be a big storyline because this is going to be a TNT race. This is going to be on cable instead of NBC this year. If it still pulls in a huge number, like NASCAR needs to have that come back because the middle of the summer needs that kind of pick me up.
Yeah.
There's like that July doldrums you get to.
It's come back. We actually have Jar Jar Binks back in the chat for once.
Oh yeah. Yusa been leaving lots of super chats.
I like the San Diego rumor. I think that checks a couple boxes. Gives this that spicy street race potentially for June, July. I think you can run July in San Diego. It's probably warm, but it's also Southern California, isn't it? Isn't it always good?
There's no humidity out there, so
yeah, it's mild.
So I like the idea of a San Diego street course. It also kind of sort of covers your Southern California market. It's like 2 hours from LA. It's not exactly LA, but it's ballpark, I guess.
Military town.
I just still kind of laugh a little bit. Didn't Steve Phelps or someone just go in like we will definitely be racing in Southern California next year?
Yeah.
We'll also
looking back on things. I hate to say this. Of all years for NASCAR not to be opening up in Southern California with everything that's been going on there these last few weeks, probably the best week, probably the best year for them to not be going there.
Yeah. Because
which is difficult to navigate, sadly.
Which, and I will say we wish the best for anybody out there going through everything. NASCAR is the least of your concerns right now, but kind of swinging it back around the room here. Eric, what is one of the remaining? What do we got? 4.
Joe Gibbs Racing took Denny Hamlin's crew chief from him, like the freaking Grinch. In the middle of the night, swiped Chris Gabehart out from underneath Denny Hamlin's Christmas tree, replaced him with coal in the form of Chris Gale. No disrespect to Chris Gale. I think he's fine, qualified for the job, but obviously a downgrade, right? Denny Hamlin late in his career, clicking off multi-win seasons. Gabe Hart, Hamlin, dominant. Oh, now you're telling me at age 44, 45, I've got to learn a new guy, Chris Gale, who just went winless back-to-back years with Ty Gibbs.
Man loses
This
FedEx, he loses his crew chief. I mean,
So I still think Hammond will be good this year, and Gabe Hart is still going to impact how he runs. Gabe Hart's getting a promotion, is now competition director. So for Joe Gibbs Racing more broadly, a team that went winless the second half of last year, this is probably a good move to give Chris Gabehart more creative control over the entire team. He seems like a really smart guy, knows his stuff. But for Denny Hamlin specifically, I worry he's going to take a small step back. I'm not ready to say he falls off a cliff like Jimmy did, or Dale did, or even Harvick to a degree, or Truex their final years. I'm not ready to say winless Denny, but might take a small step back.
I want to pose this question to you guys. When was the last Cup win for Joe Gibbs Racing?
June. I don't remember what day. It was in June.
yeah, I think it was June. I'm fair on that.
June 23rd at New Hampshire.
Bell.
Before that was the 600. Both those rain-affected races.
Oh, good.
Like, when was the last straight-up race? Dover.
And that was
Denny
June,
Hamlin.
right?
April.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I have questions. Like, I'm not gonna discount Joe Gibbs Racing. Like, they still performed very well during the season. They're
Yes.
still gonna have speed. It's not like they were running bad all year or something, or like
They
whatever.
did
No.
miss the championship 4.
Yeah,
Worth noting.
but with the way with 16 available and the fact that, you know, you're gonna get your wins at different points of the year. I'm very interested at the start of the year compared to the end of the year, how Joe Gibbs Racing is. Are they gonna keep like on this trajectory, or are they gonna go up? Like, I'm interested in that. And Danny, you have the choice. The ball is in your court for the last two. Which of these are intriguing you the most? And then we'll just have like the ugly stepchild last for whatever one you don't choose.
Just because the other one seems better to end on, let's talk about the end season tournament.
Yeah. Now
I'm looking forward to it.
So that's the thing. I don't think it should. Hypothetically, I know, meme me up if you want. I don't think it's an issue. Like, it seems like it's fun. It's not going to affect the points at all.
It seems like the modern day Winston Noble to me.
Yeah. Like, I don't get what I genuinely don't get what the issue is. Like, if somebody like biffs it into turn 1 at 180 at Indy, like, okay, like, we went too far in a few places.
Just for fun and extra money. That's all this is for. I mean,
yeah.
This
and
is
big picture,
new.
I think it's for $1 million at the end of 5 races. So it's not, I mean, that's a big payday for whoever gets it, but it's not exactly like make or breaking someone's season.
Do you remember back, am I mistaken? Did they used to pay like a good amount of money for whoever would be like somehow leading at halfway, and they would have random things like that?
Yeah,
they
did. Yeah.
The last time they did that was, I think, 2012 Daytona 500. They had like $100,000 or $250,000.
They did it for the 500. They did it for big races. They're like, halfway bonus.
Like, this is nothing new. Like, and this is something like from short tracks all the way up to Cup. Like, this is in theory, I would say this is kind of an old school move. Like, I don't see the problem here. Is my big point here. I don't see the issue.
Who I see really wanting to win something like this is a guy like a Brad Keselowski. He runs the team. He would like to see his team benefit financially from his success. So that's a guy that I see that would enjoy something like a Denny Hamlin, who kind of had the idea all along, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin, he's driving Joe Gibbs' car, but he's still a team owner. He would appreciate the financial benefits that's going to give to one of his drivers if they do well, or just his Joe Gibbs team if they do well.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's very NBA. It is TNT's portion of the schedule after all. They've had a strong relationship with the NBA for years. I hope we can get the inside the NBA TV crew, Shaq, Charles Barkley, to cover NASCAR. Can we throw it to the Studio J in Atlanta and have Ernie Johnson break down the final restart of the Brickyard 400?
We've been seeing Shaq and Jimmy Johnson going back and forth on Twitter here lately, actually.
Who passed him on the inside, Chuck? Who passed him? I just want to see that. Just please, I need that crossover.
I don't know if it was maybe just because of my algorithm or whatever, kind of off topic here, but when they announced TNT would be coming back with NASCAR, like within the day, I had compilations of Shaq and Chuck going back and forth telling jokes, and like I heard I got some women in San Antonio mad at me, and I'm like, oh my god, this is great. Like NASCAR would never allow this because of corporate sponsors, but maybe we can. Like maybe we can. Like
We got to get it in quick because I know isn't Inside the NBA leaving TNT? Aren't they going to like some other network? I don't remember which one. I don't know when that's
like
happening. So that's
ESPN or something.
Oh, I hope not. It
I
needs
don't
to.
follow
This needs to
NBA.
happen quick.
TNT's been making, some big moves to kind of up their sports game a little bit, kind of back to what they used to be. TNT randomly had 2 of the first round of college football playoffs on there.
They did, didn't they? Yeah, I remember being surprised by that.
And then
They're going
Danny,
to ESPN. Thank you, chat. Damn.
Danny, you've left maybe what could be the biggest storyline of the first half of the year on the board to, I guess, maybe best for last for some. Kyle Larson once again attempting the 600 Indy 500 double.
Because he failed to do so last year.
I mean, obviously, I hope he does it. He was a top 5 threat in the 500, struggled on restarts here and there, but seemed to get better as the race went on, and then sped on pit road. If not for that, he might have finished top 5.
Yeah.
So
if he doesn't make it work this year, I don't see any way that Rick Hendrick lets him try it again.
It would be really tough too, just because it's like, how much extra money, like does the publicity match, stuff like that? What I think I'm interested, we talked about earlier, is Prime's coverage of Larson Watch on the pre-race. Like, I want to see how they do it, knowing they have to prove something, versus Fox, who's just like, hey, here's a 16-second commercial of Joey, Jeff, and Dale.
And I still say, I think him not being in that race ultimately helped benefit to him, losing the regular season championship last year, which likewise hurt him when we got to the playoffs later on.
absolutely.
I mean, he'll never admit it, but it's like, that is the clear cut difference. Like, that was, right up front.
Yeah.
But we had a lot to cover. Luckily, the second half of the show, we have our fun segments like, our predictions, random driver, stuff like that.
Yeah, we probably should say that. Yeah, we have almost 800 people watching right now. Thank you all for tuning in for the first show of the year.
Yeah.
We want to let you know there are some fun segments returning in the second half of this show. And so, yes, we need to, we're still getting back up to speed. Our in-show teasers and promos, yes, are not up to our typical standards right now.
I will say one thing that's not returning this year is a like goal. But I mean, if you guys want to like it, I mean, you can. You don't have to. You're not required by law or anything. But I would like for you guys to like the show. I mean,
this should be. We did peak over 800 a little bit earlier. I did see.
Is Danny still gaslighting even with no goal?
I mean, Eric, they don't have to. There's no requirement. There's no legalities. But I mean, if they don't want to just be rude, I mean,
that sounds like gaslighting to me, Danny. How could you?
Like it. I mean,
well, how about this? Let's give them a breather, because again, we have so much stuff coming up. We got the lightning round in a bit. We got reckless speculation, some stuff that was talked about a bit, predictions, random driver of the week, Bowman Gray. Heck, we even have a NASCAR. I even got my buddy John to help me out with a NASCAR themed gender reveal for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have been asking. But first, we need to thank viewers like you, as Danny would say, for the first of many when it comes to this super chat stage breaks. So I'm going to pull up that on my end, and I think, unless it's inappropriate, I'll just pop them on screen. Yeah.
You can do that. Okay. I like it.
Yeah. So let's see what we got. Unless, hold on, I got some before the show, and I don't think StreamYard has them. So we're going to pop up the ones too from before the show and go from there. Those won't pop up on screen, unfortunately, but Spencer Purcell with a 43-month member chat said, first member chat of season 8, because why not? I appreciate it. Bailey Reichertz for the 5. Corey talking down on lower series when he hasn't had a top 5 at a non-super speedway yet and hasn't won since ARCA was K&N was K&N is
Yeah,
wild
that's
to
definitely
me.
pretty questionable.
It was an odd choice of words. What
Yeah.
he said wasn't incorrect, I don't think, and it's a valid way to view racing between Cup, Xfinity trucks, but like
He
it just struck me
he
as
didn't even
unnecessary.
he didn't even win those modified races he entered, did he?
I don't know if does he have modified wins? I don't even
I have
know.
no idea.
I know he ran some in recent years, but I don't think he won.
Boo Harvick forever for the 2 here says, welcome to Winston, my home city, Winston-Salem.
Nice.
We have lots from Jar Jar Banks.
Oh boy.
Jar Jar Banks left 3 $5 super chats. So first one says, sorry, Blue Jimmy Misa going to be at Thesa Clash Thesa Saturday and Sunday. Won't be able to watch Thesa live stream, but Misa will boo Thesa doo-doo head Harvick.
Is Harvick making an appearance at the class? I guess he'll be in the
He'll
booth.
be in the booth. It says Misa wants USA to all type hashtag boo doo-doo head Harvick forever. We all know he's Thesa hypocrite. And cheater boy also Misa stand with 2311. And then says Jared, my name is Jarrett, Jaret, says USA need to read Itza correctly and use Disa voice. Also Misa want USA to sing Disa Father by Sabaton. You never cease to amaze me, Jar Jar, but you didn't get my name right, so you got like the second half-assed.
Brutal.
Alex left for the 10 says, hi guys, glad to see you back. Eric, congrats on the wedding.
Thank you.
Another season, another year of hoping NASCAR updates their pet apparel selection so I can give my dog Gordy a Joey Logano hat.
We can see the lovely corgi, it looks like.
Oh yeah, there's the dog right there in the profile picture. I got it on the screen, Jarrett,
Awesome.
so you can see it. Yeah.
So wait, you can see him, but I can't? What the hell?
Yeah, popping them up for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then the next one we'll read a couple more here. I'll catch us up till at least the start of the stream,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there. Isaac with the 5 says, hey guys, weird to be starting a new NASCAR season without knowing the actual 2024 champion was, because it sure ain't a guy with 7 top 5s and a 17th place average finish. I didn't say that, he did. That was not me digging up skeletons.
Wow.
He was more deserving than that cheater Alex Bowman. I will tell you that right now.
Alex left with the 5 says, also, Danny, who do you think is winning Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble, I should say. As much as I hate his guts, I'm thinking CM Punk.
I think it should be CM Punk, but at the same time, I just don't know what direction WWE is going to go this year.
Let's see. A couple more. Let's see. We'll get 2 more here. Daniel M saying with the 2, excited that y'all are back. First super chat in the channel too. And then Hunter Nixon Fishing with the 20. We'll end off here and then get the rest in the final super chat stage break, saying, I thought Kyle Larson, who is the sport's best driver, saying he essentially would rather have a 6+ win season at this point than win another championship under this format, was damning for this format.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. He absolutely would feel a little jaded after the season he just had, the numbers he put together, and to not even make the championship 4 just because he had 2 or 3 bad races at the worst possible time. Like that, it'd be hard not to feel resentful. Is that the right? Did I English correctly there?
I think you did.
Close enough. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So I don't fault him for saying that. That being said, winning the championship still pays a whole lot better than 6 wins. So
yes,
I think he'd like to win if you took a lie detector test, I'd like to win the championship too. That would be pretty nice.
I think to me it's just I think we all know blood's in the water, and they pretty much ensured a 2026 change. So it's like gloves off.
I don't want to make any confident predictions till the blood needs to be thicker. I'm still not sure. It's just a small paper cut in the water right now that I can sort of smell. I need some more assurances.
You know what's thick, like 2 C's thick, is this lightning round. It is a big ass lightning round we got this week.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
By the way, I want to thank Jet.
I think me and Eric were going one direction, but you weren't.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm-
thought you were gonna say something completely different.
Hopefully,
I
One
thought it was going to be
Direction.
related to the poll question.
The
or something
poll
like
that came up had me thinking something
We'll
completely different.
We'll
I
get
thought you were going
there.
to say something about feminine
We'll get there.
doorknob in the chat here.
I'm gonna let that roll.
You're trying to get him in
the
trouble,
lightning.
Eric.
Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble. Lightning around here. We'll let the poll roll until the end. By the way, thank you to Jet MDK for the awesome graphics. There's more of them to come at the end of the night.
Andrew said, "Whoa, the lightning doesn't strike Danny down anymore."
We can add that later. We'll add it in post. First off, of course, we have the NWP channel for episode replays as well as specials every now and then. We'll be more active this year on that for sure. But we got a hefty amount here. So let me roll through a few, and then if we need to cover any, we can. BJ McLeod has opened a roller coaster, or is going to. I don't know if he has or not yet, but
It's still under construction.
Okay, constructing a roller coaster in Pigeon Forge. There will be 2 tracks on it, and the 2 coasters will race each other, which is the first kind of ride like this, which is awesome.
And it will be very easy to find if you've ever been there. Right as you're exiting Pigeon Forge on your way to Gatlinburg, it'll be right there, right at the end of town. They'll be very easy to find.
Danny, we got a lot of stuff. We got to roll. This is lightning striking everywhere. The Netflix show is debuting in April. So, yeah.
We talked
The
about that,
Netflix show.
Also, off topic, Toyota has left the NHRA. So,
Oh, well.
JD Motorsports is officially closed and sold off all its assets, according to Bob. We talked about Lee Diffie being back. Days of Thunder, by the way, Days of Thunder now available on YouTube for free with ads. So,
That's cool.
Yep. Amazon Prime will sponsor Chase Elliott for 3 races through 2020.
Twitter replacement.
Yeah.
Basically.
What do you want? Hooters, or you know what someone needs to do? Someone needs to edit the top of Bezos's head onto the area we all look at Hooters girls at, because I feel like that'd be a good meme. But even have the eyes sticking out if you want to.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what else we got here. There's so damn much. Corey Day is signed with Hendrick Motorsports to drive ARCA truck and Xfinity races this coming year.
Cool.
McDonald's has cut its sponsorship of the Chicago Street Race.
That is surprising.
Couple of tire tests at Phoenix, Charlotte, Michigan, Iowa, Gateway, and Loudon, and Cup drivers will be allowed to race in the event in Mexico.
Xfinity event. Yeah. A little surprising because they didn't allow them to do that the first year of Chicago.
This one I want both of your guys' takes on. The NFL has pretty much confirmed expanding to an 18-game schedule with an extra bye, meaning the season would start the same week as the Southern 500, and the end would be they would end on President's Day weekend for the Super Bowl, which is traditionally the date for the Daytona 500. This reported by Adam Schefter. Danny.
It shouldn't impact NASCAR per se. I would say just push the season back 1 week. NASCAR's done a great job of where our season ends way sooner than it used to be. Like, it used to end way later into November. We can afford to push back 1 week at this point. So I don't see, well, it's going to start around, September. It always does. But we cannot have the Daytona 500 try to compete with or be on the same day as the Super Bowl. That's a big mistake. Don't ever let that happen.
100%. It sucks to potentially lose that sort of President's Day weekend tradition if it comes to this. But yeah, ultimately the NFL is the big bully in the room. You can't battle them. You have to bend. You have to pick a different weekend.
Yep.
It sucks, but you just have to.
That's a fight you don't want. They can handle the Clash heats being the same night as the Royal Rumble. They can't handle Daytona 500 being Super Bowl day.
Yeah. The Puppy Bowl is the only thing that can go head to head with the Super Bowl.
I am so sick of the NFL's expansion. I can't wait for the bubble to pop.
Yeah, because week 7 or the new week 18 was so fun to watch this year. We got to have a week 19.
I feel like the NFL at some point is going to make a play in just to make the season just that much longer.
If NASCAR actually chooses to have the Daytona 500 compete on Super Bowl day, it will be the year the Vikings make the Super Bowl.
Of course it would. Of course it would. All right. Let's back to the NASCAR front, and there's so much more lightning to have. Rookie stripes are no longer on the cars in the top 3 series, and everyone screamed. NASCAR 25 will include Cup, Xfinity, Trucks, and ARCA.
Let's go.
Woo! Dude, I'm telling you, the
Hope it's good.
online lobbies with ARCA brakes are going to be beautiful. Like, that's going to be amazing. Goodyear is bringing an option tire to Phoenix in the spring. It's not going to be mandated, but if it improves the racing or makes anything about it better, it'll be the compound for the finale weekend. So, Phoenix will be interesting for at least one reason in the spring this year. Red Bull is back in NASCAR, sponsoring SVG for 5 races, and Zilich at Coda for his. I know, I love it. The only thing I wish is they could get the red back wheel the way they did back in the day with the bull.
I hope that they do more next year, and I would like to see more of an old school look with that big bull in the back like they used to.
Yeah, I would love that. Casey Kane set to return in the RCR number 33 at The Rock. Daniel Trotta will be the pre and post race host for Prime, and Corey LaJoy will work as co-host and analyst for the broadcast as well for Prime. Jim A is majority owner of Legacy, so
not shocked.
It's literally his legacy now. Triple Truck Challenge will be held at Martinsville, Bristol, and The Rock. Cup and Xfinity drivers allowed to race in it, but are not eligible for the money. And Dash for Cash will be at Vegas, Martinsville, Bristol, and The Rock as well. Cup drivers, same thing as before, can race, but can't get the money. Trucks will have live pit stops at every race but Lime Rock, and also in sad news, RIP to Bill Weber, who passed away. I know a lot of people were trying to theorize and stuff about that. Honestly, just let the family have privacy. Like they announced it when they wanted. I know some more. I know some more about that situation, but I don't think it's gonna be made public, so I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Yeah, but I'll just say it's been a tough time for that family.
And we will be back on Wednesday, starting next week on Danny's channel, February 5th.
I want you to say what you said in the actual notes. You said next year we will be on Danny's channel.
All right, I got one thing wrong on the itinerary. All right, next week
we're having a NASCAR yearly podcast. We are Glass Case of Emotion.
NYP.
Does that mean we have to start talking about poop and shit like that, like they did?
You said it twice in one sentence.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they went in excruciating detail. Like, I don't need to know. Like that's something about drivers. I don't need. I got to ask this because I saw Dirty Mo had a commercial for the bunch of their new shows that they just keep churning out, and like, is that just like a running theme of? Is like the NASCAR community like have like a thing for poop or something? Because they keep talking about it in like all their podcasts, and I don't understand. It's really freaking weird.
Were Gluck and Bianchi talking about poop?
No, I don't need to know about Dale Jr. and Amy Earnhardt and where they go to the bathroom. But if they had to put that in it, I'm like,
is that the pilot episode?
That's some new thing they're doing. I don't know. Like, I have no interest.
Hey, I'm hooked. I love it.
Eric, I have questions.
I like Noah's comment.
Yes.
People order our patties.
Hoopla! All right, but that was the lightning round. Again, thanks, Jet, for these awesome graphics. And I'll put it up again. Yeah,
I'm ready to watch some racing, guys. I'm really looking forward to watching racing this weekend.
Yeah, how about we do that? So what I have not paid attention. What's the 60? So we're going 70 to 30%. Say it'll be a boy versus a girl on this one. So I guess I'll put it on up for you guys. I want to thank John as well as some others. I thank everybody after, but just for helping me out with this. This is really cool NASCAR style on it. I was going to slip up eventually and say boy or girl, so I might as well get it out of the way before I screw up. So here we go. Here goes nothing. I'm sorry, audio listeners. You'll have to hear the radio broadcast.
Well, we're just moments away from the Little Kid 500, and it's that time of the year when we find out if it's going to be a boy or a girl. I'm John Ramos, next to Father Lumber. Can I say that now? I think I can.
Making me sound a bit like a priest, but we'll roll with it for now. Well, Dad will do. But I think they're lining up on the track right now. I think we should get back there really quick because they're about to go green.
As they're 2x2 heading through the Tri Oval, let's light the fuse in the Little Kid 500. 3 wide. vying for the second position.
I'm not surprised. The boys are the ones who are aggressive right now. They are the ones taking it 3 wide, leading both lines. Girls trying to mount a charge.
White flag, 1 lap to go in the Little Kid 500.
And now they're about even. Girls take the lead on the last lap. We're getting and jostling for position back in the pack.
2 by 2, 3 wide behind. Boys trying to mount up a run. This is going to be the finish in Daytona.
Big crash in the back. It's all for the win. Boys up top, girls down low. They touch once. Contact again. To the line. I'm having a girl.
That was great. I
That
loved
was
it.
insane.
I didn't
So,
expect
yeah.
the wreck to be that big.
John Hammond style spared no expense.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations, Jarrett.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. I wanted to make sure that we I wanted to
That
make
was
sure
a
it was
whole lot
something-
more environmentally friendly compared to some gender reveals.
I didn't burn down a forest, so you know what? You can hate NASCAR YouTubers all you want. Reddit, I didn't burn down a forest.
Jarrett only wrecked 15 NASCAR stock cars to make this gender reveal.
That was so clever. Shout out to John, to IDK player. That was amazing. You guys did a great job with that.
How many people actually showed up to help y'all film that?
I think it was like 14, 16. There were a good amount that showed up.
That's hilarious.
I
Did y'all have to re-record it because the boys kept winning? Did like
No, we got in the first go round. Like,
Oh,
it was
wow.
perfect. That was.
But
I
you
kid you not.
guys did one where a boy won and one where a girl won, right?
We were going to, but with that one, it got so well. We just told the guys, yeah, we already got like a picture of the finish, like with the boys in front. So we'll just do a roll with that. And then they're like, oh, okay, bye. But I wrote quick. I want to thank John, who I know is watching right now. I want to thank Riss for letting me do it. For one, just because.
Shout out to Riss.
Yeah, she's the real hero here on it. I also want to thank Chase Crawl and Andres Veras for the designs of the cars too, which really stood out. Josh Kenyon and Zachariah Cartledge, as well as the 2 up front battling and all the other guys that showed up last minute. It means a lot. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to call the race next week, Florida 500 too. So, and I can't wait to have a kid.
Quick question: Are those cars, are they on trading points, or someone could just randomly race the Jarrett girl
I
car?
think so. John would have to give the yes or no, but I'm pretty sure it is.
We're gonna show up to NR night rocking the Jarrett having a girl car.
Go for it, man. I'm all for it. You know,
That was so funny. I'm so excited for you and Riss, obviously. Like, that was cool. But I was not expecting that production value. And when the Little Kid 500.
Little Kid 500, I like it.
I thought the funniest part was he called me Father Jarrett. I'm like, you make me sound like a priest, but sure.
There were so many good bits in that clip, man. That had me smiling ear to ear. That was so good.
Oh my God. And then of course we have our resident Prego in the chat here.
I keep calling her Prego.
Lego my Prego.
She's got a good sense of humor. She's got.
Well, I know she
of the
does,
two.
but still.
Of the 2 of us, she's the one who would laugh the hardest at that.
That was exciting. that was hilarious. I love
Yeah.
it.
Jared's having little baby Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that she doesn't come out singing straight out of Compton, but we'll roll with it if that happens. But yeah, I'm
confirmed your daughter will one day sing at the Clash.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it has to be that far out of out of style too, the way the Clash did it time wise, then it would happen in 2061.
You'll be 90.
Oh, jeez, don't remind me. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun, and we're gonna keep. I will say we're gonna be private. We're gonna keep the name private, just because I think
It's
someone
not
should
Dale.
choose.
I
Nate
can
Dale.
laugh at this name. Too tough to tame, said Preg Biffle.
Does that mean I got stiff for the biff?
Oh, all right. What's our next segment? What's our
Hey, I'm not
segment.
gonna lie. When you said thanks to Riz for letting me do it, I'm like I had like.
Yeah. Well, next up is the headlines. We got a couple things to talk about here. Not really too many headlines, but there's a little reckless speculation we can go over for a couple minutes here. The big thing is it seems like they're mulling over the rotating finale for the season. So I want to know, guys, what tracks should be in the rotation?
I think Homestead should be in the rotation. Great racing, maybe the best racing. I actually think Phoenix should still be somewhere in that rotation. Great facility, warm weather city. Don't have to worry about a rain delay. Big market. If they can ever get the Auto Club short track built, I think that would check a lot of boxes as well. But
I think they've abandoned that project.
So then you throw out a place like Kansas, another great racetrack, little cold for sure, but you might have something there. It's NASCAR owned, so it slots into that time slot well. Those are the ones that immediately come to my mind, but I feel like there's one I'm forgetting.
I'm still on the Kansas train.
Next.
I mean, Kansas honestly is not like it's hit or miss, but it's not terrible. Especially if you're able to keep it at the last week of October, first week of November kind of thing. It's the best track in NASCAR right now.
If we're gonna rotate, I wish it would actually be ISC and SMI rotate, and then they can choose which of their tracks they want to put forward. Like SMI, choose Las Vegas. It's this car suits that style of racetrack now, and weather-wise, that would be a good place that time of year.
I mean, another one. If you're going to do SMI, Charlotte, make them finish at home. It's a growing market. It's a bigger market, so if you're looking at that side of it too. But on top of all that, man, have the guys, the teams and guys, everyone at home. I mean, they already for Bowman Gray did pre-race inspection at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So
I wish SMI would be able to, if we're going to rotate, let's do an actual rotation. Let's rotate between the two major companies and do it that way. Someone asked, would Nashville be an option? Well, if SMI has it, yes, it could be an option. They could choose Kentucky Speedway. They never go there anymore. They could go there for all that matters.
Texas finale. Hell yeah.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
Which one, Texas or Kentucky?
Yes. I feel like Patrick, yes. No, I hope they put some kind of rotation in. If not though, my number one goal is let's go back to Homestead. It's best racing they can get for a finale that they have if they're not going to put Kansas there.
That's the easiest adjustment, which I hope if they start the rotation, start there. That's a winner.
Yeah. Let's see, guys. I think we can get into our fun segments now. What do you think?
Fun segments.
We're having fun.
We're having fun. We are having fun. We'll do it live.
Oh, Eric broke his camera.
I literally just begged. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my god! I just hit my desk so hard, my computer went black. Oh no!
Oh no!
Can you see me?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Oh shit! Okay, I'll be back.
We're having too much fun.
Oh my god! Wait a minute. Oh crap! If he comes back in, we're gonna have 4.
Hide him until he's ready, right?
Yeah, I think I'll remove him from the screen for now. And while we're doing that,
breathe. Yes.
Can you take me higher? Eric will be back in a moment. Actually, he might show up and have 2 Erics. Just one will be.
We have elected to move Eric away from the show for a little bit.
We voted him off the island. His tiki torch. We'll put out the flame.
He's back on his honeymoon. He's going back to the island.
Well, while we're at it, let's let's get into it. Let's get into the prediction segment really quick. We can go over the rules and everything, a few little tweaks here. And then our accountability segments, which will be very lengthy. Predictions. So each host will make now 2 NASCAR motorsports or show related predictions. They will be kept track of in our weekly accountability session.
It was just too many for a little bit.
Yeah. We might bring it back. We might not. Who knows? We'll keep the predictions relatively concise within a few years. There's wiggle room each way. So no worries too much. The island will vote just in case it goes too far. But let's get to the accountability here. Let's start with me. So I was okay. Not the greatest, not the worst on this offseason. I said the chat will reach the like goal for the rest of the 2024 NWP season. They did that very well. Thank you, chat. I said NASCAR would try and
unlock the permanent random driver.
Good job, chat. I said NASCAR would trend on X during December, and they did multiple times for various reasons, but at the same time, nothing much was going on. The DVP I said would be updated by the Clash, and it was, and I'm thankful for that. I also said there'd be at least one NASCAR or YouTube reference at Eric's wedding. YouTube and NASCAR references were abundant. I won that one very early on.
Wait, no, it wasn't his dad. It was his sister, actually. That's who it actually was.
Yeah. On the wrong end, I said Rick Allen would join Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Prime and Turner Sports. I said the 3 podcast host NFL teams would finish in this order in the regular season: Houston Texans, Minnesota Vikings, and Tennessee Titans. The Vikings did well enough until they didn't, but is what it is. I said at least 2 of my 3 Purple Daily predictions would be correct. I got one of those correct. Teddy Bridgewater's a freaking traitor. And then Shannon Spake, I said, would be the pre-race host for Turner Sports and Prime. It is Daniel Trotta. So at least I got, blonde woman, right? I guess. For Eric's accountability, which he's still not here. Come on, Eric, get back here. I had to make the font a little smaller. He said NASCAR will have a practice session before next year's Daytona 500 qualifying session. They have. Either colleague or SHR would be out of NASCAR Cup Series racing completely in 2025. I mean, the factory is the remnants, but it's not the same.
But it's a different team. I don't count that.
Corey Heim and or Chandler Smith would not drive for Toyota in 2025. Chandler is now a Ford driver. And Eric said that Corey LaJoie would not race full-time in 25. Got that very true.
I like how you're thinking you're still on you. You're taking full responsibility for all of what Eric said at this point.
Hey, I usually get the majority, right? So, or the plurality. Eric got a few wrong here. He said SVG would be the most popular Xfinity driver last year. He was not. He said Chase Elliott's Dale Jr. throwback would be the number 1 bestseller for Lionel. Well, Dale Jr. car was. It just wasn't, a modern,
To be fair, that one hadn't even been announced yet, I think, when he said that. So
yeah. By the way, Eric's PC is resetting. He'll be back very soon. He said Chandler Smith would not have a full-time ride. Wrong there. He said Texas and Tennessee would
close, honestly.
He was. He said Texas and Tennessee would meet in the playoffs. They did not. He said both
eliminated by Ohio State.
He said both front row seats would be filled by 2024 SHR drivers. And he said Zane Smith. What?
So just one.
Zane Smith will not be a full-timer in Cup in 25, and all 3 hosts would receive NASCAR-themed Christmas presents.
I did not.
Danny, it's a rough way to start the year. You said NASCAR would not change a thing about the playoffs. Got that one right. And it got rough from there. You said we would hit 1,000 concurrent viewers for the 2024 NWP finale. Chat, you let him down. You said Chase Elliott would be the guest picker for the Tennessee-Georgia game on College Game Day.
I forget who it was, but it was a weird one. I think it was like maybe Luke Bryan, or it wasn't him, though.
You said the Tennessee Titans would beat the Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, and Minnesota Vikings at least once in 2024.
Well, I got the Texans at least.
I think actually when we were in the stands at the Vikings Titans game, I literally went in there and turned it red in the moment. You said Riley Herbst would remain in Xfinity.
Nope.
He did not. MTJ would this one sucks because it was almost true. You said
I was team specific and I shouldn't have done that.
You said MTJ would attempt the 2025 Daytona 500 for 2311 racing.
I feel like I was one of those that maybe I wanted to just say no team, but y'all was like, well, that's probably a given. And it's like, okay, well, I got to add a team to it.
Yeah, and I think now this year we should probably stress more specific predictions. That way it's not too blank, because some of them we did were we all had some pretty easy ones last year. You said Chase Elliott would make up 75% or more of Lionel's top 10 most sold
He was
diecast.
actually barely on that, honestly.
Yeah, didn't he only get 1 or 2?
Yeah, not that many.
You said Austin. Then you got the Austins here. Said Austin Dillon would transition into a management role for RCR in 2025 and run full time in the 3 RCR Xfinity entry. That did not happen. And you said Austin Hill would drive the 3 in Cup this year. And he is still in Xfinity. So which means starting 2025, I'm still leading. I got 50%, Eric 40, and Danny at 11.11.
40%. I will take it.
And all time.
Is Eric back?
Closer. Yes, he is. Yeah, we added him back in. So there's all time for us, and we'll keep track of that through the year. And I'll start us off then on the predictions.
I must have done pretty good on my predictions. I didn't see him, but if I got 40% right, I'll take that. That's a good ratio.
Hey, you're pretty solid. Better than me. I'm dog dookie.
He got 1 out of 9.
It takes a real man to admit their mistakes.
Well, I'll make my first prediction here of the year. Cletus McFarland will score a top 10 in the ARCA Daytona race.
I like that.
I mean, I think even Frankie Muniz got 1 in that car, if I'm not mistaken. So
you got to remember, it's still Daytona, and those are still ARCA drivers.
Do I go second?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pulling my notes back up because they shut down in the collapse a moment ago. Okay. I felt like saving this one for later, but because of the testing this week, I'm feeling gung-ho, so I'm going to make this prediction super early. I think Casey Kane gets a top 5 at Rockingham.
Ooh.
He was 8th fastest overall between the 2 test sessions the other day.
From the former 5 driver to the current one, I will say that Kyle Larson will win 5 or more races before the end of the regular season this year.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what you said. I just laughed because I got tagged on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
The Vikings won something. Comeback player of the year, Sam Darnold. Hang the banner.
That's big.
Let's go. That might have just gave him another $1 million for his next team.
Hopefully it's not with mine. Let's see. Second prediction here. Why the hell not? NASCAR viewership in Cup will be down 12% or more in 2025.
It'll likely be down because of the sheer number of cable races. So that's for sure going to happen. 12% is a big drop, especially considering how many weather impacted races there were last year. So, okay. All right. My second prediction, remember Ford got off to a relatively slow start overall in 2024. I think the exact opposite happens in 2025. I have a gut feeling that Ford will win at least 3 of the first 6 Cup races this season. That includes Bowman Gray. So Bowman Gray plus the first 5 regular season races, 3 Ford wins.
I'm going to go ahead and say this now. Get it out of the way. Ty Dillon will not score a single top 10 this season.
Ooh. Man, that's just brutal.
He cannot even match his car number.
That's the thing is like, it's a full season, so it's like, it shouldn't be realistic, but it's Ty Dillon.
Man.
Well,
And that's me considering there's super speedways and anything happens. He will not score a top 10 this year.
Danny the hater, you've chosen death. I mean, they can choose Ty Dillon this weekend. But before we get to our preview, we do have a nice fun segment that we don't have to beg for anymore. We got our random driver of the week segment that's back this year.
Week.
Bill.
Echo,
No, I'm kidding.
Minimize the chat.
Yeah, minimize the chat. Put something
Get
over.
out of here, chat. We'll
Whatever
come
you
back
gotta
to that
do.
later.
I will not put anything on the screen.
God, wait, I can't get rid of the chat. Shit. Okay, we're good. We're
right.
fine.
So remember, you guys have 3 predictions that you can get, or you can use 3 predictions, I should say. These just be facts from these different drivers. The last 5 from last year, James Hilton, Connor from Ellie Productions got that one right pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That was insane.
Eric then went on a heater 3 in a row with Morgan Shepherd, Dawson Cram, and Buck Baker. And then Danny tied it all up on the year with Joey Logano to end the year because I wanted one so obvious people would not guess it right away. And it worked.
But I got it fairly quick.
Yeah, but you didn't guess right. It took like I went back. It took like 10 minutes. You're like, you
I
really
was
didn't do
thinking,
Joey
like,
Logano, did you?
I was more confused. I was like, no way, this guy's actually just doing Joey Logano.
Reverse psychology.
It was such an easy one to pick because I knew people would be just like, what? Why?
That was me.
Let's-
I am people.
Yes. Let's roll off here off the pits and get to this. First one, this random driver played football, basketball, and baseball.
Good for them.
Very athletic. According what?
Nothing. Go on.
Or just the way I
According
said that is all.
to NASCAR.com that had an article, this random driver is 5'7", according to NASCAR.com.
Okay, so a
So,
little bit shorter than I am.
Short king, yeah. This random driver
Wait,
is
wait, wait.
driving
Played basketball? What, at like 6 years old?
high
I
school.
mean,
High school basketball, even at 5'7".
there's been some short basketball players in times.
Muggsy was there at one point, you know, whatever.
I guess it must be an older driver then.
This random driver's Cup career was only raced in Fords.
Shorties and Fords.
Oh man,
Danny making me laugh with his comments like unintentionally.
it's a
it's
psychological
intentional.
play. In this random driver's racing career, this random driver raced Fords, Chevys, Pontiacs, Buicks, and Oldsmobiles.
Okay, so they are old as dirt.
Definitely an older, definitely an older driver. My suspicions were correct.
This random driver's driving career is largely forgotten.
Shit, well then what?
No one knows them.
We're so screwed. At least I am.
This random driver is from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Oh, that feels like a hotbed for racing talent.
That should have helped me, but it doesn't.
Which means this random driver's roots were also then at the Langley Speedway. This random driver has made 29 starts in the NASCAR Cup Series. No guesses? By the way, got 24 clues. We're 8 in, so we're a third of the way in.
Is the chat getting it? Has the chat picked it up yet?
No.
Oh, thank God.
This random driver's best career Cup finish was a 14th place run at Talladega in 1995.
90s. Okay. So they stuck around a while.
14th was their best.
In Cup.
Dang, they sucked.
This random driver's Cup career was mostly ran at Junior Johnson's team. Nothing?
Mm-mm.
Do we have a cricket sound effect? Is that in our soundboard for this year?
I'll add that in. I'll
That's
write
good.
that down right
For
now
this exact scenario.
because we definitely need it. This random driver was at one time the competition director at Team Red Bull. This random driver made 392 starts over 20 years in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Nothing. We're halfway.
This is gonna be a tough one. Unless it's obvious and like there's a clue at like number 22 or 23 that gives it. I'm
still stumped.
yeah.
This random driver has 2 career Xfinity Series wins.
Oh, okay.
These 2 wins were at Myrtle Beach and New Hampshire. This random driver finished a career high of 5th in Xfinity Series points 3 times. Back in the 90s.
I assume that someone in the chat has to have gotten it by now, right? The Red Bull and Junior Johnson hints were probably big giveaways.
Yeah, they mostly got it.
Damn.
This random driver finished 38th and 43rd in Cup points in the 2 seasons that they ran in the Cup Series.
And they were in Fords and Cup, right?
Only
Fords.
Fords.
Or mostly, I believe, if not almost completely. Pretty sure it's mostly, though. This random driver drove all but one of his career Cup races in the number 27.
and the number 27 in Cup.
Yes. Would you like the numbers that this random driver was in?
Yes.
Sure.
01, 02, 0, 4, 14, 27, 37, 38, 41, 42, 45, 67, 70, 75, 77, 82, 91, and 98.
I got no idea.
This random driver was born in 1959. So you can kind of math it out on the age on that one. I'm not going to give the age right off the bat. I'll make y'all think about that a little more. But in 2023, NASCAR.com stated this random driver brought a nice guy approach to his role in the sport.
And what year was that?
2023.
So he's still in the sport in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. It wouldn't be like...
Eric, I don't know if you want to like pull this again where you start saying names.
I won't do that.
No,
I'm
I'm going to warn you guys on not giving names away this year so that we can have at least a little more fair of a fight when Eric tries to give like half of them away to guests and Danny.
I'm just trying to think of like, you mentioned they were the competition director at Red Bull. So I'm like, okay, who else? Like there've been crew chiefs that have obviously raced. There's probably
I just don't remember a 27 Ford car in Cup. I remember some in the lower series, but only 27 I really remember in Cup was Paul Menard, but that's obviously not him.
Yeah, this has been before that. I remember the Kleenex 27 car, but that was a Chevy, I think. Or was that a Ford?
I'm just going to say Jason Keller for the heck of it.
No. So that's one off the board for Danny. This random driver is an unpopular NASCAR figure.
Wait,
oh my gosh.
You just said in 2023 he was considered a nice guy or had a nice...
Hey, how the industry views people and how fans view people, we have learned is very different.
Is it Steve Phelps?
Did I guess?
Did he ever race?
No, that's one off the board for Eric. This random driver...
At least I wasted mine on a NASCAR driver.
This random driver married former driver Patty Moyes.
Oh, it's Elton Sawyer. Oh, wait, it's going to be Elton Sawyer.
There you go.
It is.
Oh, hell yeah. Wow, I was in the dark.
The last two was going to be this random driver has been in the NASCAR headlines recently. And the last one is going to be Danny owns at least one diecast from this random driver.
Danny, there's a diecast behind you.
Is it
it's in the room.
It's in the room.
It's the Tennessee 98.
Oh.
And I'm like, that one right away, it would immediately be like, at this point, I'm just like gifting it. But that's like the most obvious fact I can give. Because Danny showed all of us on this stream before, on this show. So the chat had it for a while. They were like,
yeah,
now that I think about
I
it.
see now why he would be considered disliked for more recent times, I guess.
Yeah, that now that your late clues make a lot more sense. Yeah, but I don't know anything about his driving career. I knew he won an Xfinity, so actually you said he won 2 Xfinity races.
We were both equally stumped on that one, so that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That should have been more of a hint, but I didn't know about what Cup. I didn't even know his Cup history at all. He drove for did he drive for Junior Johnson in Cup, or was that?
He was like one of the last drivers for
I didn't know that. I learned something new today.
I mean, I did a whole video on Junior Johnson's team, but obviously been a minute. I forgot every detail about him.
Well, guys, we got one really, really big segment left, and that is our preview for Bowman Gray, the Clash at the...
Wish Gray Galding had a ride so we get Alex Bowman and Gray Galding coming 1-2 to the line.
Well, you know what? Even though we don't have that, hang the banner. They sold it out. Like
all 17,000 seats.
Congrats! You sold out a Texas high school football stadium.
That's about half of a Texas high school football stadium.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually smaller.
And then Tim Brown and Burt Myers will be running in this race. Brown in the 15 for Rick Ware and Myers in the Team Amerivet 50. So that team is still there, at least Team Amerivet.
I love it. I love that they got these modified guys to run this race. Like, it gives it a different feel
It's
than
exciting.
the Coliseum race. Even though it's the same basic track, even some of the same parts and pieces used to put it together, it's going to have like a true Winston-Salem grassroots racing feel, which I
Some of
like.
the local fans who show up be like, "Oh, I've watched that guy every week over here." You know?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Like, I've been excited since last year for it. I'm just glad more people seem to be coming onto the hype train. You know what? Instead of like going through too much of it here, I'm going to put it on screen. I know there's a lot. I know that you'll see us in the background a little bit, but here is the event format. It is literally the same one that they had at LA, from what I can tell. I mean, 4 heats, 25 laps on Saturday, top 5 qualify for the main, and LCQ on Sunday, 75 laps, top 2 qualify for the main.
So
and
wait,
then
the important thing to note is there is racing Saturday night, the heat races,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. See, I honestly, this is my job. I didn't know that until just now. So that's huge. Clearing my calendar as we speak.
Well, and so after those 5, after the first 20 make it from being the top 5 in the main, and then the top 2 qualify for the main from the LCQ, the highest remaining in 2024 points will remain. Sunday will be 200 laps. Stages are 100 laps. It's just basically the same thing as the Clash in the Coliseum. 100 to 100, 8 p.m. Eastern time start. Fox and the Fox Sports app will cover it with MRN and Sirius XM at the moment. Last time I checked earlier today, the National Weather Service had the forecast of the day being 54 degrees, partly cloudy, 7% chance of rain. And when you look at the defending winners, you have the defending winner of the Clash being Denny Hamlin in 2024 at the Coliseum. And then the last Bowman Gray winner, the defending winner at Bowman Gray for NASCAR, Bobby Allison in 1971. So there is that to look at as historic there. Now, really quick, I do want to announce something, and I will put it in here real quick. We are bringing the NASCAR or the NWP NASCAR Fantasy League back. I am going to post the name of it right now in the chat and pin it. There are 10 people who already found it when I made it live right as the show started, including me. So anyone who wants to jump in, first come, first serve. There you go. If you're hearing it on the audio side, I apologize. You probably didn't make it in. It's literally just NWP League. That's what it is. And I'll check in after we get through at how many slots are left if you want to try. But so first come, first serve, run for it. There's only going to be one of these, and we'll go from there. Now, when it comes to the bragging rights of the chat and the hosts once more, we have to review last year's pick points, where Eric finally broke through and got himself a victory. 4 points over the chat, 5 over me, and 18 over Danny. These are the pick rules, by the way, for anyone who was wondering. Same as last year.
I need to screenshot this.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to keep track, if I either got the math wrong or you think I'm being dishonest, there you go. And, well, we're going off last year's standings. So, Danny, lead us off. Who is going to suck in the Clash at Bowman Gray?
SVG.
Oh, suck. Oh, by the way, suck pick can be suck or miss.
I think he could potentially miss, but yeah, I don't think he'll do good.
I remember the rest of his Cup career before this. I'm going to go Cole Custer.
Dang, he's just got back. We're already going back to him.
Yeah.
The chat's sticking with old reliable.
Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon.
I didn't even have to look. I knew you said that it'd be Ty Dillon.
Yeah. I was gassing him up earlier, but this just doesn't feel like a Michael McDowell kind of race.
No McDowell supremacy.
Not for this one, at least. He'll get him at Daytona. He'll be there.
All right. Who now, Danny, is the dark horse pick?
Not the win, but considering what team he's on, and they're just having fun. How about Burt Myers to at least get into the main show?
I like it. I hope at least one of those guys makes it.
I'm going to go kind of fun with this because I think this person could actually be a real threat to possibly sneak up and get a win. I'm going to go with Noah Gragson.
Mm.
And I haven't looked at the chat, so I apologize.
Chat-
I've been focusing on everything else.
Chat is mid. They're kind of all over. There's definitely a few for the 50.
I would say put him in with the 50 of me. I'm seeing a little bit more of that.
Yeah, there's some Josh Berries as well. But yeah, the 50's fine. It's pretty split. It's not the most important pick. So
It's one of those that they'll never get a chance to say that again. So why not?
I'm leaning Ty Gibbs for mine. I just feel like kind of a rough Brock'em Sock'em race. Why not? I think he could be top 5.
I mean, there's a reason he's on the thumbnail. He's up front for last year's.
JGR's won back-to-back clashes at the Coliseum, but this is basically the same track.
And guys, it is time. Jet made us a new lead in with this one as well. Who is going to win the Cup race? Who's going to win the first race of the year? Who's going to win the Clash at Bowman Gray?
Oddly enough, I think I just saw him. It's flat. It's new. Guys, it's short track racing. Joey Logano.
Danny got the win of the night with just that alone.
That was like Jim Carrey levels of facial contortion. That was a perfect impression.
That was great.
I've known all offseason I was going to pick Joey Logano for this one.
Wow. Okay.
Well, then I'm going to go with the most consistent driver at the Coliseum. It's the same type of racetrack, except that you won't probably be pinched into as much trouble because there at least is the grass to escape to. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
I was thinking about going with Kyle Busch. I'm glad somebody else took him so I wasn't forced down that route.
I think the chat was going to as well. So I'm seeing a lot
chat,
of 5s.
Yeah, chat. There's a lot of 8s, but now there's a lot of 5s. Do we want to give him a
I
Larson?
think they're pivoting to the 5.
Yeah, let's give him Kyle Larson.
Okay, then I got some choices to make here. Pulling back up my
can't get that
pre-show.
Now, remember, Jared, an RCR car screwed you in this last year.
I know, but I trust Kyle Busch even at his worst more than Austin Dillon at his best.
I'm gonna go with. So I said Gibbs has won 2 straight clashes. I think they make it 3 in a row. I'll go with Christopher Bell. He's actually going to have fun. Not gonna hit the desk this time. He's gonna have fun this time around. And when I think he's gonna be out for blood after what happened at Martinsville. He came into the media center at Phoenix right before the finale, walked straight to the podium, sat down. I was cheated out of a spot in the championship for it, like a freaking Bond villain plotting his revenge. I think the revenge begins at Bowman Gray.
We'll do it live. We're having fun. All right. Well, we are definitely actually having a lot of fun tonight. And let's close it out on our final Super Chat stage break, which for some reason only showed me the ones that happened after we went live, but we'll deal with it. Doing it live. Atmos. Eric, if you want to just pop them up on screen,
Yeah,
I'll
I'll do
read
that.
them.
Yeah.
Playing Black Ops 3 Zombies. NWP is back. Racing is back in just 3 days, and all with the same good ass dinner. Life is good.
Life
That
does
just rem-
sound pretty good there. Atmos.
Hearing the life is good, it just reminds me of the one where it's like the gorillas, where it's like, you know, the gorilla with wife. Life good. Wife fight back. Kill wife. Life sad. I've sad.
Think about
Regret.
wife.
Think about wife. Regret. SW says NWP is back. Let's go. Woo. SK Ables says, is NWP on Thursday nights from now on? No. So it is on Wednesday nights. This was just a special occasion.
Just because I was still trying to get back from my honeymoon. It was my fault, guys. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Eric.
I'm going to make sure you got a sunburn.
Had a really long layover. My bad, y'all.
Chris says, did Matt Kenseth officiate the wedding for you?
He did not. Sadly, he never RSVP'd. Although, ironically, a man named Matthew did officiate our wedding. Not Matt Kenseth. About the same age, though.
Honestly, if Matt Kenseth was randomly on Cameo, I think me and Jarrett would have paid money to have him just say something for Eric.
Yeah, we would have.
During the toasts, you know, the
Really
father, the bride goes, and then wait. We have a message to play. Just holds up.
Wait. No. And then, by the way, I should let you know I got a text from him on this, and I'm just going to add it in the middle of this because I didn't say when I'd do it. Happy birthday, Muvik, turning 20. Happy birthday, Braden Muvik, 20 years old.
The big 2-0.
If he wins the Florida 500, I'm going to try and get John to say that. Or I'll just say it after, since I'll be the DW role. Where are we at? Bryce Dislocation Sizemore, I believe, is the next one. Congrats,
Yes.
Eric, on the wedding, making a NASCAR pool. Can't wait for the 2025 season to start.
Thank you, Bryce.
By the way, when it comes to pool, I believe they allow 100 into the fantasy league. We have 38 remaining spots. So
Carson Hosevar just asked in the chat, have they shown the trophy yet for the Clash? I don't know. Has that been revealed?
I think it has. I got to go and add it in here really quick. Where is it at? I
love that we just randomly have Carson Hosevar in the chat.
Let me see if I can find that really quick, and then I can add it in.
He heard none of us pick him to win the Clash, and so he's angry.
Oof.
He's like, he can smell like someone. It's like, when you say something bad about someone, they roll in their grave. Carson Hosevar knows when you've slighted him, and he appears.
I think one of us at least will make up for it next week. Be sure to watch.
You're picking Carson Hosevar to win the Daytona 500. Is that what you just said, Jarrett?
Hey, he had an average finish good enough to win a championship last year. Like, come on.
That's a valid statement.
You can't argue. It's the facts.
The facts are the facts, man.
All right. Good luck, Carson.
Where are we at here? I believe another Eric says, I'll be at Bowman Gray on Sunday. Hope all of you will be too. So here's a question. Will we see a post-race fight? This is Bowman Gray after all.
Did tempers ever flare at the Clash outside of when Larson, sideswiped Justin Haley?
I think Paul Menard should have popped Jimmy Johnson that one year, honestly.
I was thinking about the Coliseum, but yes, there was some. If we go back in time to Daytona and such, sure, I'm sure there have been examples. I mean, Blaney and Elliott at the road course.
Paul
right?
Menard should have showed emotion of Jimmy Johnson.
The faces of Paul. Rowdy8_diecast says, welcome back. I'm making the drive from Maryland to Bowman Gray, and it's going to be a good weekend.
Safe travels. Have fun.
CM says, you think that Chandler Smith has Matty D syndrome, talent, but problems behind the scenes? Seems none of the JGR guys besides Creed and Ryan Truex were homies. I'm not going to recklessly speculate too much. I would, if it became a pattern, I'd get it, but
yeah, I've talked to Chandler only a couple of times. He seems like a go-getter. Maybe he's not everyone's cup of tea. I feel like everyone in JGR's Xfinity team is kind of in it for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Colleague 5 years ago where it felt like they were group hugging and like super supportive behind the scenes. I feel like everyone's kind of trying to build their own careers. They're cordial. They work well together, but they're not like best buds. I've never really got that impression from the Gibbs Xfinity team. But I don't know.
You know, so we don't get any more of those like yay buddy family videos now that they're not winning as much
from Colleague.
Like, I don't want to be an ass about it, but it's like I'm seeing a correlation here of performance versus family videos.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're saying if they hug more, that equals more downforce?
Maybe.
Oh,
let's see. You know, you don't have downforce to get out of the groove.
That's what I've heard.
That's always what Clint said. Palm Tree here says, I can't watch tonight, but I want to drop in for a second and say it's great to be back. My weeknight racing buddies are back, and Sunday will smell like race fuel again this weekend. Let's go.
Well said, Palm Tree.
Thank you. Badass picture. I like that.
That's cool.
The Oodles 69, can't wait 69 out, says, welcome back, guys. Season 8, big year ahead and changes.
We have officially reached our Dell Jr. year, guys.
Wow. Look at us. We're almost old enough to vote. Or how does this work?
I mean, we're in our 50s and dog years.
we're on the back nine.
Ross Crash Stain for the 15-month member chat here says Ryan Sieg wins before Sheldon Creed. That would have been a nice.
I mean, he threatened to do it last year.
It almost happened a couple times last year.
Bailey here says for the 5, funny, Creed got an SHR offer a year ago and turned them down and now is driving for them anyways. He's driving for the factory.
Yeah, the factory. He just wanted Tony out of the picture. There's some weird bad blood there, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm just...
Leo was mine. Fred Dog for the 5 says, good to see you again. Do you think NASCAR hyped the Tubi channel correctly? I'm finding a lot of people online not knowing it's free or where it is.
I mean, I just have no interest in going on Tubi.
I don't know. I guess for like, it's not really my cup of tea. I haven't really watched it much, but like I'm used to going to YouTube, for better or worse, Instagram reels, where etc. And it's like quick hits,
Sometimes
mostly
a lot
ad
worse on
free.
Instagram Reels.
And so it's like you asked me to go to like traditional TV, but like online, it's not really my thing. But when they're showing specials or old races, I would love to check some of it out. But I just don't feel like it's. I feel like I'm not the prime target audience. Like the three of us, I don't really feel like we're the prime. I feel like it's aimed at an older demographic that's more still watches traditional TV more. And if they're not getting the message to them, then yeah, that's obviously a miss.
Tubi feels like the Temu for streaming apps to me.
They'll get it with their Fox News subscription. SK Abel says, Alex Bowman, regular season champion, feels right. So,
no.
West Virginia. I love that we can show the profile pic right here too.
I know, that's good.
Says, knowing Heim, he's going to win 10 plus races just to lose to Hemrick winning the championship race.
Yep. Seems about right.
I mean,
time until it matters. He's like,
he's going to finish third.
Heim's going to win something though, because he's a Chiefs fan, so he's guaranteed to win something.
Oh, he's a Chiefs fan?
He was at the game.
I'm just going to, let's just pretend Toyota sent him there or something.
Toyota is driving the bandwagon. Ross Crash Dane says we're racing at Dwayne Johnson.
His house is probably big enough to hold a race.
Then 2 from Boo Harvick Forever with Santa Claus as the profile pic. Said he is on Sirius XM. Steve said he's.
That's about Steve Letarte.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
I don't listen to radio. I'm under the age of 60.
Damn. You didn't have to say that.
What is with Max and real-time race audio?
They announced today that if you have an HBO Max subscription, you can go on there on race day and they'll have in-car cameras for every cup car and audio synced up. They'll have like leaderboards and stuff. It sounds pretty cool. I thought it might only be for the HBO Max races or the TNT races, but no, they say it's for every cup race this year, that'll be a pretty cool second screen feature if it works well.
Garabuki for the 10 says, yo, gents, got to say congrats to you on your marriage, Eric.
Thank you.
My now wife and I got married last week, so I was surprised to learn how close our weddings were.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations, Garabuki.
Congrats, Garabuki. Look at that. We'll remember our anniversaries. Hopefully.
We're live on here. You forgetting something, Eric?
Wait, Garabuki has to remind me every year.
The member for 4chat member chat from Carl here says penalize the guy who people are manipulating for.
Ooh, that opens up a new can of worms.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
We'd already saw Thomas's for the 5 earlier about Eric not covering Red Bull yet. He will. We talked about it today.
Eventually. I mean, what more is there to say? It's awesome to have a major, especially such a recognizable racing brand back in the sport. I'm more excited about Connor Zilic already making a cup start at 18 years old, like at Coda. Remember what he did in the truck? He blew turn 1, but after that, he was,
remember he did a Watkins Glen in Xfinity?
I mean, yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to be awesome in that race. Not saying put Zilic in a cup car full time by any means. No, not yet. But Coda.
I'll be right back, gentlemen. I hear the kitty cat knocking at my door, and I don't want him to be knocking forever.
That's duty calls.
Speaking of duty,
showing us the dad cabs.
We got nice pre-show pull on that one. Yeah. We got Jar Jar Binks saying 2 rounds at Lisa plate tracks.
No. Stop at the plate tracks. Get that out of here.
Andrew Which I never noticed that Sal is his profile pic. There is a new NASCAR adjacent show on Prime called Motorheads. To tell you how bad NASCAR is marketing it, I learned from an actor about it, not them.
So is it actually like NASCAR branded, or just it's like about NASCAR kind of sort of? It's like a okay, I'll check it out.
Watch, it's just like the band Motorhead.
Yeah.
Skill 7 with the 5 says, I just want Homestead Miami back as the final race. Me
I think
too.
we all would love
Yes.
to see that.
Jar Jar Binks with another one saying, these current format, these change top 12 in points, auto qualification for wild card must be these top 25 for it's Jesus Christ.
Jar Jar. You cannot give us your complicated playoff format with your accent the way it is. We cannot read it. Like that's just
You can't take it seriously.
I'm taking it off the screen. Get that
We're
out
actually,
of here.
we're actually racist against Gungans.
Speak English.
Speak English, damn it.
Speak Jedi. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Get out of here, lizard lips. Just make a bunch of Gungan slurs.
oh my goodness.
USA not welcome. Go back to USA country.
We still don't like a yours a kind.
This planet. I haven't seen the prequels. I can't play
Dude,
along.
I showed you Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith.
I might have fallen asleep halfway.
No,
there.
because Attack of the Clones, it was like the love scene, and you're like, all right, guys, I'm tapping out. And then we watch Revenge of the Sith, and you're like, that was actually a really good, well-made movie.
Oh, you know what I have seen? Is that the third one?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that one. but I didn't see
Nothing.
everything
There was
built.
never a Star Wars movie that happened after that. The lying liberal media is telling every lie. It's a conspiracy theory. Damn it! There's no such thing as the Disney movies.
The corporate machine.
The corporate media is lying against us.
Jared
Oh,
ever
man.
went to Disney World that has all the Star Wars stuff, he'd be like, "Oh, cool. You don't exist."
Yeah, Jared
No,
would have
it's
a hard
that
time.
it's that meme. It's like, here, have a piece of candy. Oh, here, have a piece of candy. And it's the Disney Star Wars.
Hmm.
Will Griffin for the 5 says, my qualifying concern is the speed difference between groups. Get rid of groups and just do a 45-minute practice, then qualify from slowest to fastest.
Not to go back to the Star Wars stuff, but I agree with 10-piece nugget. Shout out to Rogue One. That's the one thing from Disney that can exist. That can exist.
That's the odd man out because
That's canon.
Yeah. That also because it doesn't ruin anything George made. Let's see, Robbie here. What do you think the biggest dark horse race of 2025 season will be?
Like where like a dark horse will win, or that like, oh,
I
this
think
is
it's
a great race.
A race that we're not expecting to either be great or just something crazy.
I
Like
feel
what?
like that gateway playoff race might go nuts.
I mean, I didn't expect the Bristol spring race to go as good as it did, or as fun as it did, I should say.
I'm going to say this. I think having one Richmond race is going to make it a little wild. It's a lot of times they go down to one race at places and it's actually like halfway decent.
It's a good.
I mean,
I'll say
hey,
Pocono could go better than we expect this year.
yeah, last year was like a letdown. Usually Pocono with the next gen's been pretty fun. Autry Motorsports for the 20. I think you meant congratulations on your wedding, Eric.
Thank you, Autry Motorsports.
Knowing that you're a Texas guy, hope to see you out at a dirt race somewhere in the Texas area. Same thing with Iceberg and Danny B. If y'all are ever in Texas, I like Texas.
Yeah, I gotta see what dirt tracks are near me because there is Devil's Bowl Speedway. Did they close that place? I thought I remember they closed it a couple of years ago, sadly, because I went a few years back to see a World of Outlaws race, and that was pretty cool. And that's in the Dallas area, but I don't know if it's still open. So I got to find some new ones. There used to be a track near Austin I went to once or twice, but I'm far from there now. So yeah, I'll have to do some exploring. I need to get up to the Chili Bowl next year. It's only like 4 hours away. This year it was my wedding week, or I did not plan that very well. Next year, maybe yes.
Boo Harvick Forever says what we want is Jar Jar on the show this year.
This is the same account, isn't it?
No, that was Santa Claus.
Our Gungan xenophobia is showing. Hey, NWP guys from NASCARson saying, welcome back. Sorry to tell y'all, but I've unsubscribed from every NASCAR channel except you three. Awesome David Land
Jeez.
and Taylor Kitchen and that racing show because no MTJ in full 2025.
But there's other things to enjoy besides
other-
MTJ.
He's subscribed to us.
That's all you need. Yeah. Screw
That's all you
everybody
need.
else. Yeah.
But there's other good things to enjoy just because of no MTJ.
Where else are you going to get these conspiracy theories, man? I'm going to be honest, Joe. I probably can't say that live. Audrey Motorsports with the 50 saying, congratulations, Eric, on your wedding. Hope to see you at a dirt race in Texas, at the Texas area. Same with I think this is the same.
That's the same thing. They just sent more to say it
and
right.
then there's a second part of it. We'd love to have y'all in the pits. We can give you a car to cheer for as well as we go for ARCA or Broke.
Hell yeah. I love to hear that. I did just look up Devil's Bowl closed, which is very sad. So I need to look up what other tracks are nearby. Hunt County Raceway. Is that a good place? I've never heard of that one. Oh, I'm stupid as Texas Motor Speedway has a dirt track. I should just go out there. What's wrong with me? I don't have to look that hard.
But we are definitely got.
Gee, I wish there was a track that had a dirt track around
For years, I just, I'm sorry, the big track sort of catches my eye. I forgot I think is High Limit doing the race the same weekend as a cup this year again? Because that would be cool.
The off-season rust, I think, is clearly still on all three of us.
Yeah, I've not seen a race at the TMS dirt track.
Bailey asks a pertinent question here. Says, will this be the year that Eric admits Riley Herbst is better than Jimmy Johnson?
I'm not even sure Riley Herbst is going to be better than Jimmy Johnson this season, head to head.
Oh, I was about to say, I guess you could say that this year, but
I mean, wait. So Jimmy's got 2 races on his schedule: Daytona and the 600. He's got to race his
I
way.
guess he
into both.
literally has a chance to prove it 2 times.
I'm just saying. I would not be shocked if Jimmy has a better finish in both those races. Would not be shocked. And Jimmy's been terrible.
Oh wait, this isn't Riley Herbst. This is Rickery Herbst. That's someone different.
Oh, yeah. I've heard good things about Rickery Herbst. Actually, he's a little scary. So never mind. Yeah, Jimmy's past his prime.
I love all
it's now the year of the Rickery.
I love all the bad stuff we said about Jar Jar. And then he leaves this one. Misa Moy Moy Happy Eric's going to name his first child after Misa. Oh man.
I will if you will, Jarrett. You go first.
No. By the way, we have 12 spots left in the NWP League on the fantasy if anyone wants to join. NASCARson saying, congratulations, Eric, on your next chapter. Give me one different reason from all 3 of you why I should watch NASCAR in 2025 due to my driver MTJ being gone.
Because it's NASCAR.
Because they're going fast and turning left.
You can hang out with us every week still, and give plenty of opinions too. And on top of that, honestly, you can just watch for the craziness.
And because it's not about the driver, it's about the friends you make along the way. The 19 Bass Pro Shops Toyota Camry still exist on the track each and every week.
Danny, the way you said that, it just reminds me of the Fitness Grand Pacer test.
Did AI take over testing?
Well, sorry, AI just took over my body for a second. I don't know what happened.
I can see in your profile picture, NASCARson, you standing next to Jarrett and I at, I believe that's Darlington, I would guess. Darlington Raceway, maybe North Wilkesboro.
Might be Wilkesboro. I can't see from here, but
think
It might be North
Darlington,
Wilkesboro.
I think.
Either way, clearly NASCARson, you've been to a NASCAR race before, so you understand how special each race feels in person. The the overload of the senses, I should say, is unmatched by most other major sporting events. So if you're looking for a new driver to root for or something to watch for, just go to another race this year, and I'm sure you will fall in love with the sport all over again, even though your favorite driver is currently not racing.
yeah, there's so much stuff too nowadays you can add into, whether it be like we're doing the fantasy league right now, or like you add in with different pools or something like that, or you're just watching to hate watch somebody. Like the first year always sucks. We've all dealt with our driver being gone that first year, and it by the end of the year, you look at the sport differently. Like that was me in 2018.
This is a great point. I've actually, I can't pull it up right now, but Spencer in the chat says the vibes are fun in person compared to how toxic they can be on social media. And that's very true. Like people will complain about the sport at the track, but typically the energy is always just so positive and it's infectious. So it's fun to go to the track and just wash your problems away for 4 hours. It's great.
I'm putting in the chat right now. Only 8 spots remain in the fantasy league. Let's back to it here. We are thinking on Bailey again. I made me a $5 bet for Briscoe to get over 1.5 wins this season. Bold? Until he proves otherwise, I'll say bold for now, but not as bold as I think some people would think.
It's only a $5 bet, so it's not bold. First off, but it 1.5. So you're expecting 2+ wins. I would say that's slightly bold, considering the 19 has gone winless 2 of the last 3 years with a future Hall of Famer behind the wheel. One win is very realistic.
We got Shugs in there.
Yeah.
He's
Big
being needy,
kitty.
so he's gonna get on camera.
Big kitty. Alex Luft. Puppy Bowl for life. Also, yes, Gordy is a corgi. I like that. I like that Gordy.
Oh, wait, he updated the profile picture.
That's awesome. Here's my new profile picture with him chilling for one.
Gosh,
I love it.
Shugs got out of here.
Boy. Bobby Blair for the 5 saying, hey, NWP guys, glad y'all are back. Racing is back, which means I can get a long break from my stressful ass Texans. Here's to another great season. I think we all wanted a break from our NFL teams by the end of the year.
Me especially.
Will Griffin with the 5 here says, I'm an Eagles fan and I chose to watch all 24 hours of the Rolex at Daytona and slept through the NFC Championship game. Racing is more important. Respect, man.
That's dedication.
I'm the same way during, and I get it. Regular season games don't matter as much as postseason, but I'm the same way. Like, yeah, if I can watch the Vikings, fine, but NASCAR comes first, and I will watch it above all else.
Damn, it's like a cult when you say it like that.
One of us. Snappy saying, well, nothing, but he's a new member, so thank you. Gian NASCAR fan says Bill Weber is the only non-New Englander to call the Daytona 500 since 1979. He did it for NBC in 2006, having been born in Middletown, New Jersey, RIP. Because you got Ken Squire, Mike Joy.
Mike Joy is from like
Allen.
Connecticut or something, right?
Alan,
Are we talking about just like who's the lead broadcaster? Technically, you got Darrell Waltrip.
no, I think it's the lead broadcaster.
Okay.
Where's Mike Joy from? I gotta know. It says he's from Chicago. Wait,
He was born there.
No, but he was raised in Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what about Alan Bestwick? I know he was.
Oh, he's from up there somewhere. I think he might also be Connecticut. He's a big Yukon Huskies guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Meanwhile, Bill Weber,
Rhode Island. That's what Wikipedia says. At Wikipedia.
Never lies.
Did that kind of count? I don't know.
Yeah, that's New England.
I'm going to say this. I think that Bill Weber was not the greatest, but he was overhated. Like, he was like right in the middle. Like, he was a serviceable announcer who, when he dug into his pockets, could actually have a really good call. He just got in his own way too much.
He was good in Talladega Nights.
I mean,
The long one.
I for one see him as like an iconic voice of my childhood. I actually got a video coming out, hopefully, maybe tomorrow. I hope, like talking a little bit more about how I appreciated, Bill Weber as a voice at the time, being much younger. Had no clue why he just randomly went away. I think still today, no one's ever gonna know the details of what happened at that hotel incident. But that's all we know.
Yeah, the thing for me about Bill Weber is he excelled at storytelling and pre-race and as being a host there. And he was a good pit reporter too.
He knew how to captivate you. He just had a voice that drew you into where you wanted to hear what he was saying.
I can literally hear him being like, the race for the chase is then and at Talladega. And just the cadence that he had.
I think it's unfortunate, that we never got a chance to like see him again. No appearance on a Dale Jr. download or nothing like that.
I know it sucks. I always wondered, like, what's he up to? Jake here
for a little bit.
Yeah, apparently a pretty good one. Jake says the show is back. NASCAR is back. My hair won't grow back, but oh well, we back, baby. I like that. I like the sense of humor. That's good. Shorty PJM left 2 here. First one. Hi all. I know the promotion rules more bad than good potential, which, by the way, we'll talk about that closer to the Daytona 500. But let me be a hypocrite just this once. Freaking Helio Castroneves, and follows it up, says, like, you don't get it. He's legit my favorite all time IndyCar plus arguably #1 motorsports racer. I literally love him. I'm so happy.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about
I'm
you.
happy for you.
Very
I'm happy
exciting.
for you.
The energy, I can feel it through the screen.
I love it. I love it. There's a lot of energy tonight.
Mhm.
Rocks, reviews, and reactions for the two. Welcome back, guys. Having Truex in the 56 is
With Cole Pern.
Yeah, Cole Pern, tungsten butt plug.
Crazy.
Something that I thought was funny, when he was in the 56 Napa car, there was always just a small Bass Pro Shops logo. They never actually did a full race of him in that car. So now it's funny to come full circle. It's like, okay, now we got the whole car in the 56.
His career is complete. We can close the book. Oh, where we at? Austin with the 5 here says, now that we are 7 years in, when did each of you know that this show was going to make it? As a day one fan, I'm so glad to see what the show has become.
Year one,
have we made it? I don't know if we've. I mean,
well, I think more like the show would last longer than a couple weeks because that
we could actually keep doing it.
We wouldn't get bored of doing it and just shut it down.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, for me, like when, like, because I was always like, I want to make it work, but I think for me was getting the email back about confirming Bobby Allison on. I was like, holy shit, we are doing something here.
That's what I remember thinking. Like, this is the potential we have with this as 3, 4, 5 of us. Being this, being this regular voice in the sport and having the opportunity really to talk to these legends.
This is what it looks like when NASCAR fans just get a chance to talk.
Yeah, it really felt like, okay, like fan content has always been a thing in any sport, piece of media. Like, fan content is a big deal, but it was wild to see how early on the NASCAR community sort of welcomed a show like this and was willing to entertain a show like this. I mean, some of the drivers that we had on in our early years and still to this day, and we had the president of NASCAR on in our third year of doing this show. Yeah. Third year, I would say that was the moment. So for me, it was 2019. I remember I was off the show for about 6 months because I was working at Disney World and I was working basically every Wednesday night, late hours. And I remember then, like, man, I mean, we're going to come back and do it in 2020. And then 2020 was so weird with the pandemic. It was just kind of like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know if this is going to really last. We stuck it out. At least I stuck it out. And I remember that summer when we had Steve Phelps on. From then on, it was like, oh, this show is like, no, we have the potential to do some really cool stuff here. Fans really enjoy hanging out with us once a week. Like, it stopped feeling as busy as much like work, at least for me. And it became more just like a fun, regular conversation to look forward to every week. I know, Jarrett, you do more heavy lifting than the two of us. So
I have fun planning.
Yeah. I hate to say that it's not work. I know you put a lot of work into it, and we do work to prepare as well, but it's become more effortless. I would say getting over that hump in the pandemic year, I think, was like the turning point.
I think the COVID break for me, like, that was the point. Like, if we can literally have no news going on and still like do something out of it. I think, there's so many people that have jumped on and watched since, and I appreciate so many of them that come on. But I think one thing to remind people, because like 2025, like, we know it as YouTubers and in being media and working in media is like, it is so different than 2018. Like, it feels weird to say, but there wasn't really a show like this for the NASCAR side at that
had caught on, at least that I was aware of, that had found any sort of groove, no pun intended.
I mean, look, I think we talked about before too, is like, if you look at the people that were kind of in the podcast live stream media space compared to now, it's like, there's really not many left in their current form.
Yeah, it's changed, or people have evolved their content or gone and tried different things. It's just cool. It's just awesome. What I love about doing this show, as we've become a little more established, the three of us, it's been really fun to meet with, and in some cases, I think, kind of platform up and coming creators and other, I would say, somewhat interesting or unique voices that we've had on the show. I mean, just last year from like Grant Auto Racing Analytics, like we had him on the show. He was doing fine on his own, building his own sort of platform and notoriety, but we had him on. He was great. And now he's still working with Legacy Motor Club now. Like, it's awesome to see like his journey in just a short period of time. Not saying we're responsible for that by any means, but like being a part of that journey in its early phase is cool. It's awesome to see more people like that sort of, this show has been a great vessel, I guess, to meet and talk to so many interesting people from across the industry and share some of those personalities with, whoever decides to tune in.
And likewise, talk about, the other people and stuff. Something that I guess I did a lot more of, maybe so than some other people, but I had to have some difficult conversations and networking with track communications and NASCAR communications people to actually let them know, like, hey, this is what me and a few others do on YouTube. Like, you can trust us to come inside to a race and we're not going to act a fool. Because that term YouTuber is very scary at first glance of it, obviously. And I definitely got my fair share of denials to cover some races at first. Thankfully, talk to the right people, present yourself in a professional manner. It can open up opportunities. And I had a conversation with won't say names. A conversation with a gentleman at a big NASCAR team. It was one of the jobs I was interviewing for in the off season. Didn't go that direction, went another direction. Either way, I got to tell him about some of the things I was proud of, and that is one of the things I was proud of from what I've done in this realm. Because I told him that wasn't just for me; that was for anyone. I mean, I think of some great creators who are bringing themselves up. Taylor Kitchen, for example, she's doing a great job on what she's building with her Above the Yellow Line brand. If a guy like Danny B doesn't try hard a few years ago, there may not be a chance for someone, other people to get into that realm. I have heard from, sorry, I got Microsoft Teams going off. If you hear that, I don't know. But there's there's a lot of good creators. We heard from the people at Front Stretch. I love what they're doing. And they have told us that, hey, if you guys weren't doing this, we don't know if we would have entered into that realm either. So there's, some great opportunities. And my Microsoft Teams, I've, for the case of these two guys, they're doing the NASCAR thing full time. So happy for them. I have also built a full-time career because of what I have built on my own. And, we've had so many great people come on to the show before, and they're all doing great things. Even our old friend Darian, he's out doing some big things too on his own now these days. Some things away from the NASCAR spectrum now.
It's been a long, winding, crazy road, but it's fun. It's worth it, and we love having all of you guys with us. Good question. That was.
I still don't feel like we've like made it as a show. I just feel like
I know it's like there's always another step.
It's just becoming like an effortless sort of part of our routine now that I look forward to every week, and I just look forward to meeting the different people that we've had on the show. I just think it's been the easiest way I think we've been able to connect with the online NASCAR community, and I think that's what makes it so much fun.
All right. Let's keep going. There's probably some really good ones we haven't seen just yet. I think Austin has another one here as of right now. Who's in the hall who isn't in the hall that should be?
That's eligible, because like Truex will get in eventually.
Just all guy. I'm kidding.
I can no longer say
no. So. Oh, I forgot about that.
God, that's the thing. I don't know who's like eligible, who isn't, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who's been on the ballots recently. Like, I was still a little surprised Edwards got in as quickly as he did. I think is Biffle's on the ballot. Ricky Rudd is still on the ballot, I believe. Is Harry Gant on the ballot still? Has he ever gotten in? I don't think he has. I think
he's still on the ballot. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm like any of those guys definitely.
I don't want to say definitely. I feel like I certainly don't want to water down the hall too much. Like, I don't want it to become the hall of very good. I think there still needs to be a standard. That's why I honestly think Carl Edwards is he's a Hall of Famer, but he got in like on his second or third year. I would have maybe had him wait another couple seasons.
NASCAR kind of burned through him way too early with 5 in them.
Yeah, and so now they've limited it to 2 a year off the modern ballot, and some years I even think that's too many, to be quite honest. Like, I almost wonder, and I know the Baseball Hall of Fame, the way people vote is kind of a joke every year, but their actual format where it's like, hey, names on the ballot, you have to get X number of yeses to get in. We could have 3 inductees this year. We could have 13 inductees. Just depends. I actually think that might be the better way for NASCAR to do it going forward. But then you run the risk of some years there's just 0. There's no, or this sport's kind of an insular clique in many ways. Everyone votes yes on everybody because they're all buddies. They're all friends. They go golfing with each other now. And so then you'll have everybody making it. So maybe I guess that's what they're looking to avoid. Yeah, it's an imperfect system. The names we mentioned probably will get in eventually, but I don't think they're there just yet.
Let's see. Mittens left a couple, but first one here. Mittens has joined the NWP Fantasy League, which is now full, by the way. So
it's over for y'all. You're cooked. Mittens is taking this one.
All right. Bryce, Dislocation Sizemore. I can't read, save my life. I think Dislocation joined the Fantasy League. Awesome.
Oh, man. It's going to be a strong 1-2 finish between Bryce and Mittens.
And Mittens comes back again. Who are you guys' picks for Royal Rumble Saturday?
I'm the only wrestling fans. I'll just say CM Punk.
Yeah. That guy sounds good.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I don't know.
He was a fan favorite that was gone for years, had beef with Vince McMahon. He's gone. Now he's back, and everyone's happy.
I mean, having beef with Vince McMahon at this point, you probably ended up on the right side of things. BGWX Chasing says, cheers to a new year of NASCAR and NWP. Thanks for all you guys do. Love the new intro and graphics. NWP for life. Had to shave off some money for the NWS swear jar, NASCAR weekly swear jar, multiple times, but we'll hit y'all back after the 500.
Hey, speaking of this person here, BGWX Chasing, I'm gonna have to go look at your channel for some storm chasing. But Jarrett, we're about to get a storm. I'm hearing thunder out my window.
Ooh,
oh, I just heard that too.
Yeah, we're getting a thunderstorm coming our way.
All right, we better go. The funny thing is, if like my end and Danny's end goes off, like just because one of us is in here, the stream will stay up.
Oh, don't leave it on. I don't know how to turn it off.
I'm on the west side of town, so I was hearing the thunder before Jarrett could, so I'm like, ooh, is that what I think it is?
Don't leave me alone.
I didn't
realize. I'm like, that's a sign of spring. We're getting out of winter. Let's go.
All right, well let's go here to Ferg saying, have you met Quaffle or Mayer? Were they stunning? I mean, apparently earlier when I put you on screen, you said JJ McCarthy was handsome. So sure.
Ferg is feeling thirsty tonight.
Yeah.
Is this like Phineas and Ferb's long lost cousin, who they had to cut from the show because he was not Disney Channel friendly?
I mean, he was behind the scenes Disney Channel friendly.
That was clever.
Crash Travels USA here says, welcome back. I've never seen my name spelled like that, but
that's incredible.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Welcome back, J-Rot, Danny, and Eric. Just messenger. I love that.
Jared.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
That's a good one.
J-Rot.
Look at the cute puppy. Yeah, look at the Uzica boy. Austin says, over under 2 years left of the current playoff format. I'm gonna go.
I'll take the over.
Oh, I will go under. I'll think NASCAR does make a change next year.
Oh wow, that is loud.
Wrap it up.
Zardy, support DD12.
I didn't know what this meant.
I don't know what this means either.
So we'll go to this one. Sly Supersonic for the 529 saying, the offseason is over when NWP is back. Held to the yeah. Eric, Yusa just jealous. Yusa not Disa Senator.
We'll vote you out eventually, Binks.
So, you know what's funny is like if Jar Jar was in our Senate, he'd probably be in the top like 25% smartest.
He'd probably have the highest approval rating.
Yusa giving me money? Misa just committed war crime. Let's see. Fred Dog. Hey, Fred Dog 81 for the 5. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. I think we clicked at the same time. Denny Hamlin is going to have another child in a couple of months. Now watch his wife try to wreck Mrs. Iceberg on the way to the maternity ward. I was like, wait a minute, where is this going? Okay. Well, no, she's a fan of Denny. So
oh yeah, so they're gonna tandem draft.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work out well.
Well, hey, it's just I'm just throwing it out here. There's a slim chance they could end up in a close hospitals. I think they're due around the same time, and they're
That's
on Nashville.
right. That's
wow.
right.
What
That
are
would
the
be
odds?
freaking wild.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Uh,
Kid's
Grid-
first words will be "Boo Hamlin."
Denny's kid?
No, your kid.
No. Like hers will be Boo Doo Head Harvick. It's so many people leave that. Grid flow for the 2. Why no past champions provisional for Jimmy and MTJ?
NASCAR said that they're eligible, which was confusing. I figured they were when they first announced the rule, but then people were like, "Oh no, it's just for like other people from other series." I'm like, "Well, that's not how it's written." And then sure enough, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, Jimmy and Truex are eligible, but like they have to apply 90 days before the race," which I don't know that they did. That might be bad communication on NASCAR's part. I don't know, but we'll see.
Real quick. It's in the live right now. I have to put it on the screen. Baby bump and run.
That's
All right. Where did we leave off? Is this
right here?
Andrew saying, I guess you guys are going to have to ban me from the channel. I love the sequel movies and Denny Hamlin. Enjoy.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
That's a ban. Chat, ban him. That's a ban.
Hey, I'm for Denny. No, actually don't ban because some people might take it serious. But
Yeah,
I'm cool with Denny. I like Denny.
Mods, put the guns down. Put the guns down.
I'm kidding. Stop.
Spare him.
Boo Harvick
I'm
forever.
sad.
Says justice for Jar Jar. Apologize, Eric. I stand with Jar Jar.
YouTube apology incoming.
I didn't want to make this video. Ripping the ball. Kyle Busch come back here thanks to practice.
I don't know if like 1 or 2 extra practice sessions all year is going to make that big of a difference, but hey, I hope he's good. Kyle Busch good is good content, so I want to see it.
Sully is next. Will Kyle Busch get a win in 2025? I'm going to be bold and say yes.
As
I know
the days go by, I keep thinking the same thing.
I think it's going to happen.
And I have no reason to feel that way because Richard Childress Racing has not made one personnel move this year that made me this offseason that made me go, wow. Like other teams have. RCR really hasn't, but I still feel like they'll get it done.
West Virginia. I'm always going to say it like that. How do you think Allgaier will do at the 500? Top 10? I mean, I think
You got to race in first, but
he's got the right crew chief to win the pole.
Yep, I like him to make it on speed and then race is the race. I mean, good chance he crashes out. It's just the truth.
The Oodles 69 saying, was it Bill Weber that forgot Petrie's name on TV? No, that was what's his name? I'm forgetting amazingly. I forgot his name.
He wouldn't have worked if Andy Petrie, I don't think.
Bill Weber,
he's thinking of what's his name? Marty something or
Marty Reed.
Yeah, Marty Reed.
Yeah,
No.
Marty Smith. Marty Reed.
There's a lot of Martys on NASCAR TV.
I'm here with Dale Jarrett, winner of the Brickyard 400, and I know who you are. I'm like,
God, that's so hard that's so hard to
No,
even think back to.
Bill Weber was the one who is like, and Harvick will win at Bristol, and it's like it's Richmond. Where are we, Bill?
Yeah, he got the track mixed up.
Bryce with another one here says, have a good night, y'all. I'm winning fantasy.
I think Mittens the racing cat has that covered. It's gonna be a good rivalry.
Jam plays games. We're so back. Austin says, forgive me if it's taboo. If it's been covered, I'm unaware what happened to Darian. He is doing his own stuff now. He's back in Las Vegas and he's doing pretty well. And just people going their own ways. But yeah, we're happy for him. He's been kicking ass.
We still hear from him from time to time.
Yeah, he's been doing stuff with I believe Stargrave Sports on the football.
Yeah, I think
side.
he's posted a couple things this offseason.
Yeah. I think Ferg is next again. I'm sure I will love JJ like I love Joe and Justin. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert or Justin Fields? Probably Herbert.
Joe Gibbs and Justin Allgaier.
Austin, thank you again. It's good to have you all back. Love you guys.
Thank you, Austin.
Man, love you too, man.
Great to see you tonight.
Jar Jar Binks says, that's all right, Jared. Boo doo doo head Harvick. Misa proud. And Andrew Winslow, Sal says my profile pic changed to Sal. I may change it again. No, don't. I love having him pop up on screen. It's great.
I think it just makes us laugh every time I say it.
It really does.
Oh man,
Guys, I
3+
think
hours debut show.
this is not gonna be the norm. We actually did less than the last show. It was just amazing to say. But remember that next week, not next year, next week, February 5th, we'll be on Danny B's channel.
I need to get a
Wednesday
more
night.
updated picture.
I think we all do actually, because like
you
my
look so
picture-
well behaved.
Oh,
John, what are you talking about?
and let's see. Ranger Man says, I know the Craftsman Truck Series and Xfinity Series will be racing at the Rock this year. When do you think Cup will make it back there?
I think that's going to be one they avoid, personally, if I'm being honest.
I honestly think it'd be one they do sooner rather than later, especially with the state of North Carolina funding it too, like that initial funding. Like,
I think it just depends on a few other factors, but I don't see them pushing that one just yet.
I could see it for an exhibition, Clash, All-Star race.
that's what I'm saying. I think I could see North
But-
Wilkesboro being made a points race and Rockingham getting like leased out by SMI. That's how I could see it. But I hope
think
so.
a lot depends on what happens with the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
Yes. Yes. And then Mitten says, thank you for believing me, Eric. I'm going to do it for you.
Go for it, Mittens. I'm pulling for Mittens this year. I'm gonna get a t-shirt and everything.
Justice for Mittens.
We need to wrap this up and go to bed, I think.
Yeah, I think we do too. We appreciate everybody coming on in tonight. Damn.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I crashed, not the computer this time.
But thank you guys so much for coming on in. We appreciate it a ton. And we'll see you next week. We have our playoff picks, as well as some other things covering Bowman Gray. And whatever else news comes, maybe some guests. We'll see. Wink, wink. You have to show up. That's the thing. Got to show up to see. Thank you guys.
If you're
February
a Joe
5th.
Gibbs Racing fan, you'll want to tune in next week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know who the guest is. We haven't talked about it. I'm out of the loop.
A lot of fun stuff coming up. We'll let you know. We'll let Eric know after we get this done. Later, y'all.
Started off right, pal.
Right on, come on. Clean outside. Three wide.
Unbelievable.
Green playing, we're going. I like the aggression. Let me drop the green bar. You can go to all this guy's up there. They can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming the way.
Hello. Come back, caught him.
That was incredible.